Chapter 637. At this moment, Huagang and the others were gathered in a core student lounge in Sun Moon City. Everyone, what should we do? Huagang's expression was gloomy. Xiaoping not only won the competition and obtained a large sum of money, but he also obtained a treasure that only the champion can obtain. He has benefited a lot and is doing very well. I wonder how proud he is. But what about us? This time we've been screwed over by that brat. Not only have we lost a large amount of treasures, we've even lost tens of billions of dollars. It's not an exaggeration to say that we've gone bankrupt. You guys tell me, how should we deal with him? He clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. How else can we deal with him? Immediately force him to hand over the money we lost. If he doesn't agree, we will kill him and make him disappear completely. A core student roared crazily, his expression ferocious. This doesn't seem appropriate. Another core student shook his head. That brat isn't without a backer. Behind him is a behemoth like the giant corporation. Moreover, Yanhuang University is also his backer. Now that he has won the championship, he is like the sun in the sky. If we want to deal with him or even kill him, this matter will definitely cause a huge commotion. At that time they might trace it back to us. Of course, according to our identity as core students and the power behind us, we won't die. The problem is that our martial arts will be crippled and we will become cripples. That is worse than death. His expression was very solemn. He didn't agree with killing Xiaoping. Count my ass. Xiao Jingbin's expression was ferocious. He is from the giant corporation. Are we core students not humans? Some of us have joined the giant corporation, the Aurora Corporation, and even the elites of the Life Corporation. That was indeed the case. Those who could become core students were all monsters. The three mega giants naturally welcomed them to join them. Among the core students present, there were a few from the giant corporation. Moreover, we have a king family behind us. They are powerful and have the support of a king. That Xiaoping is just a country bumpkin from Yanhuang Star. If he wants to fight against us, he is dreaming. If he dares to resist, we will kill him. Xiao Jingbin was very arrogant and wanted revenge. It could be said that he had lost the most in this bet. Not only did he lose his most precious treasure, but he also lost 70 to 80 billion federal coins. Even if he was rich, he still couldn't bear this kind of loss. It could be said that he was going bankrupt. If he wanted revenge, his determination was the fiercest, and he even had the intention to kill Xiaoping. That's right. No matter how powerful that kid is, he's just a country bumpkin. Which of us core students would lose to him? If you want to compete with us in terms of background, then compete with him. The group of core students gritted their teeth. The status of core students in the cloud realm was unfathomably high. It could be said that they were second only to one person and above tens of thousands of people. People like them had high status and power. But now, he had been swindled by Xiaoping, who knew how miserable it was, and he had even become a laughingstock. On the other hand, Xiaoping was doing very well, even becoming the champion and obtaining treasures, becoming the center of attention. How could they possibly tolerate such a thing? Although we can't kill that Xiaoping now, we can do it from the people around him. A core student's eyes showed a fierce look like a wolf's. Yes, I've investigated that kid. It seems that he has a loyal lackey called Feng Hetang. He's the worst at biting people, and he's also putting on an act in Yanhuang University. He's formed an unknown organization called Pingtian Sect. Another core student sneered. We'll find these people to do it. We'll kill all those pig friends of that kid, cripple them and completely cripple them. Then we'll deal with their families and destroy them. I want to see what that Xiaoping can do. I want him to be deserted, and no one will dare to approach him. He will become a loner. His intentions were very vicious. Don't let his parents go either. Huagang sneered. Immediately send people to Yanhuang planet, capture them and torture them. I want to destroy his family and see how he dares to fight with us. Xiao Jingbin clenched his fists. He's just an ignorant dog. He wants to show off in the cloud realm. He doesn't even know how to write the word death. This time we'll let him see what the power of power is. If he still doesn't bow down and still dares to be arrogant, we'll directly send people to cripple him. He was murderous. It's not impossible to kill him. Huagang sneered again and again. Although we can't do it directly, We can kill with a borrowed knife and get rid of evil for the people. I heard that because this kid is too outstanding, he's already on the demon clan's must-kill list. Who knows how many demon clans want to kill him? We can completely leak his information, track his whereabouts at all times, and then give this important information to those demon clan killers. In this way, that kid will be lucky to live more than 3 days. He revealed a vicious plan that made people shiver. Brilliant, it's really brilliant. Huagang is really cunning. If he was killed by the demon clan, it really has nothing to do with us. Even if they want to investigate, they can't find us. In this way, no one will know how that kid died. What a good plan to kill with a borrowed knife. Let's do it this way. Who told him to offend us? He's digging his own grave. Many core students' eyes lit up, and they were all very much in favor of this vicious plan. Not only could they kill Xiaoping, but they could also get rid of their relationship. How could there be such a good thing in the world? Don't talk too much. One of the core students immediately shouted, I will immediately call my family's assassination squad to kill Xiaoping's group of scoundrels, cripple them. At the same time, we will attack their families and destroy their families. I'll also take action. I'll ask a few of my family's men to sneak into Yan Huang's star, capture his parents and torture them severely. It's estimated that there will be news within 3 days. Chao Jingbin sneered. That's good. I want to see that kid kneel in front of us and cry bitterly. Champion my ass, even if he wins the championship, so what if he has the hope to become the king? He still has to kneel in front of us. Huagang gritted his teeth and sneered again and again. The other core students also nodded. They acted swiftly and immediately went to do this matter. Anyway, everyone was on the same boat, and there was no need to worry about others leaking it out. Otherwise, everyone would play together. At this time, in a lounge in Sun Moon City, Xiaoping stayed here. All of a sudden, the system prompted, Congratulations to the host, you have attracted a lot of hatred in this genius battle, gaining a total of 20 million hatred points. I hope to continue to work hard. 20 million hatred points. Chapter 638. At this time, the system also issued a warning. Warning host, there are core students who want to kill host. The other party is brewing a strong killing intent. Please pay attention. What? A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. With a boom, the system immediately transmitted a message into the depths of his mind. Immediately, he knew that Huagang and the others were planning to harm him. They are courting death. After understanding this information, Xiaoping clenched his fists. His body emitted a terrifying killing intent that was almost solid. It was as if the temperature in the room had dropped by tens of degrees, and the fog on the ground had frozen. These core students were simply too daring. Not only did they want to harm his friends and family, they even wanted to harm his parents. Although he believed that with the protection of the giant company, the plot of these core students wouldn't succeed, it was better to be safe than sorry. Who knew what would happen when this group of people went crazy? Even if a single hair of his parents was lost, the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. The one who strikes first has the advantage. The one who strikes later suffers a calamity. Xiaoping understood this very well. It was fine if he didn't know the plot of these core students, but once he knew, he wouldn't give them a chance to act. Seems like I have to ask the giant company for help. Only the giant company had the ability to deal with so many core students at the same time. If it was before, he wouldn't have the confidence to ask the giant company for help. But now, he was already the champion of the genius competition and an expert at the 7th level of the martial master realm. In the future, he would definitely become a king. Needless to say, his current status in the giant company would definitely increase exponentially. Although it sounded like he was boasting, a genius like him would be nurtured as the most outstanding seed no matter which martial arts faction he was placed in. No matter what he said, he wouldn't take it lightly. This kind of status was similar to the crown prince of an ancient empire. Therefore, Xiaoping wasn't worried that no one in the giant company would listen to his words. Thinking of this, Xiaoping immediately picked up his phone and called the manager of the giant company, Liang Quan. He immediately told him about the plot of Huagang and the others to harm the people around him. I understand. Wait for 2 hours, this matter will be resolved very quickly. After listening to Xiaoping's words, Liang Quan said in a deep voice. He didn't need to know why Xiaoping knew such a top-secret thing. In short, even if there was such a possibility, he absolutely couldn't ignore it. Because ever since Xia Ping entered the top 10 of the genius battle, he had become a big shot in the giant company. And now, he was the champion of the genius battle. From this, one could very well imagine how highly the upper echelons of the giant company regarded Xia Ping. They were already nurturing him as an unrivaled king. If such a character appeared, even if it was a minor matter, it would cause a huge commotion in the giant company. Very quickly, Liang Quan reported this matter to his superiors. The report was passed up layer by layer, and not long after, all the kings in the giant company knew about it. Immediately, in a conference room in the headquarters of the giant company in the Sky Realm, there was a huge round table. Huge thrones were placed next to it, dazzling with gold and jade, giving off the aura of a king. These seats were densely packed, and there were at least hundreds of them. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At that moment, virtual images were projected. These virtual figures appeared on the seats. Some were young, some were old, some had one arm, some had one eye, some had a bald head, some had long hair, and there were all sorts of different shapes and sizes. However, each of them emitted an abyssal aura. It was as if even through the virtual images, one could feel the terrifying aura of these big shots. It was enough to distort space. These were all kings of the giant company. However, at this time the seats weren't full. Only half of them had appeared. Even so, it was still quite shocking. Usually, when the giant company held a meeting, it would be amazing if there were more than 10 kings present. If it wasn't a life and death crisis, these kings basically wouldn't appear. After all, some of them were adventuring in some secret realm, some were researching martial arts, some were fighting with monsters, and some weren't even in the Sky Realm. Most of the kings didn't have time to attend the meeting. But now, half of them were present. This was enough to prove the importance of this matter to the giant company. Alright, everyone is here. Let's start the meeting. An old man wearing a Taoist robe sat on the seat. He looked old and clumsy, as if he had lived for countless years. Among the many kings, he was the first to speak. It was as if he had undeniable prestige among these kings. I believe everyone is clear. This time, some core students who don't know the immensity of heaven and earth want to deal with Xia Ping, a member of the giant company. They even implicated his family. Does anyone have any objections? That old man said calmly. Xia Ping? Is he the champion of this time's genius battle? I heard that he was able to defeat countless descendants of kings when he was only at the 8th sky of martial master. Even that monster Feng Qiudao wasn't his match and was beaten miserably. Some kings had heard of Xia Ping's name before. Not only that, he was even able to completely control that hell spear and suppress that famous demonic weapon without suffering any damage. This is enough to prove how shocking his talent is. Some of the kings emphasized this point. What? Even the hell spear was subdued by him? That's impossible. It said that there were kings who tried to subdue this treasure, but they were all corroded by the demonic qi of the hell spear and died from qi deviation. In the end, it was regarded as a demonic weapon that couldn't be subdued and was suppressed forever. It's just that tens of years ago, there was an invasion of the demon race, causing the hell spear to wander about in the world, and its whereabouts were unknown. That brat actually obtained it and completely subdued it? If it's true, how powerful is his soul force? Some kings were extremely shocked. This was the first time they heard of this. It's true. I was there to witness it. His soul force is extraordinary, more than 10 times that of ordinary people. His talent is shocking. If that's the case, even the descendants of kings can't compare to him. A genius that only appears once in 100 years. He has the aptitude to become an invincible king. Many kings spoke. They had experienced many things and naturally knew how terrifying a person with such aptitude was. Advancing to the king realm was something that was set in stone. Of course, merely advancing to the king realm wasn't considered much. After all, they were all kings. Their judgment was so high that ordinary people wouldn't even be able to enter their eyes. But with such a monstrous aptitude, it was clear that he wasn't just an ordinary king. His achievements might exceed their imagination and reach unimaginable heights. Chapter 639. There are actually people who want to deal with the geniuses of our giant company? This is a serious crime. We have to investigate and punish them. A king from the giant company coldly spoke, emitting an iron-blooded aura. Another king frowned. We still need to reconsider. After all, these people are all course students. Behind them are king clans. If we act rashly, the consequences will be unimaginable. Some of them are even members of our giant company. He felt that they still needed to think about it. Think my ass. A king coldly laughed. Those course students are at most geniuses. How can they be compared to absolute geniuses? They are simply not on the same level. Even if there are 100, 1,000 or even 10,000 geniuses, they still can't compare to a single absolute genius. Don't you all understand this logic? In this high-level world, quantity could never compare to quality. Even if thousands of experts worked together, they still wouldn't be a match for an ordinary king. This was the absolute suppression of strength. There were also different levels of kings. If it was an invincible king, they could easily slaughter a group of ordinary kings. The difference between them was unimaginable. From this, one could imagine how important an absolute genius was. If the human race could have one more invincible king, they would have a huge advantage in the entire cloud world. It was unknown how many benefits they could obtain. Even if there were hundreds of ordinary kings, they wouldn't be able to obtain such benefits. Indeed. A king nodded. Their value can't be compared to Xiaoping. He also agreed with this point. Also, they are in the wrong in this matter. They want to kill the geniuses of our human race for such a small matter. What's the difference between that and being a traitor? Those course students are too much. They actually want to bully the people of our giant company. If they really succeed, where would our face go? There's no need to discuss anything. Just directly suppress those course students. Since they want to deal with the elites of our giant company, they have to pay the price. That's good too. Let's use this chance to kill the chicken to scare the monkey. If not, do they really think that there's no one in the giant company who dares to offend us? Seconded. Many kings expressed their opinions. Killing intent filled their hearts. They all felt that they had to punish those course students harshly. If not, they wouldn't know where the prestige of the giant company would be. Geniuses like Xiaoping must be protected. No one could touch him. There were also people who said, wouldn't being too monstrous attract jealousy? There would indeed be people who would feel envious, but it was still a small minority amongst the numerous kings. Most kings didn't know how broad their hearts were, otherwise, they wouldn't be able to advance into the king realm. Moreover, the cloud realm was just too big. There were as many geniuses as there were clouds in the sky. There were also many geniuses like Xiaoping. Every time he saw a genius, he would be envious. There was no time to be jealous. Most importantly, in the war between the human clan and the demon clan, the human clan was still at a disadvantage in terms of overall strength. They had an unimaginable thirst for experts. They would not miss out on any human clan genius. If they had an invincible king, who knew how much pressure they would face? Thus, when a talented junior appeared, most of the king tiers would be overjoyed and support him with all their might. Why would they purposely suppress him? Moreover, there was no enmity between them. Okay, pass down my orders. Warn the families of those course students not to act recklessly. If not, if something happens to Xiaoping's family, we will let them know the rage of our giant company. The old man in the Taoist robe said coldly, his voice filled with supreme majesty. Very soon, the meeting of the upper echelons of the giant company ended. The huge power of the giant company began to operate. Such orders were also distributed to various places in the world, to the families of those course students. At this moment, in a VIP room of a hotel in Sun Moon City, Huagang and the other course students were eating here. The table was filled with all kinds of expensive dishes. It was dazzling and fragrant. Even bottles of high-grade wine were placed on the table. Each bottle was worth hundreds of millions. One could totally imagine how rich these course students were. They were extremely extravagant. However, they were course students and Grandmaster Realm experts. It was very normal for them to have such wealth. Haha, let's celebrate. Soon we will be able to see that brat Xiaoping kneeling in front of our feet, crying and begging for mercy. Just thinking about this scene makes me feel happy. A course student laughed loudly and gulped down a bottle of wine. There won't be any problems, right? A trace of haze appeared on the face of someone. He didn't know why, but he had a bad premonition. It was as if something big was going to happen. There won't be any problems. Huigang coldly laughed. Even if that brat can overturn the heavens, he won't know that we are scheming against him. By the time he finds out, it will already be too late. What else can he do? Could it be that he dares to offend so many of us from the King clans and core students? At that time he can only beg for mercy. Otherwise his friends and family will lose their lives. His killing intent soared. Indeed, the matter of us scheming against him will definitely not be exposed. I reckon that Brad is still immersed in the beautiful dream of becoming the champion. Who would have thought that a calamity would descend from the sky? Soon we will see that brat crying. He still wants to offend us core students? He doesn't even know how to write the word, death. This time around, if we don't make him spit out everything he has eaten, we won't let him off. Many core students gritted their teeth. They didn't have any good impressions of this bastard who cheated them of a large sum of money. They wanted nothing more than to get rid of him immediately. At the same time they felt much more at ease. After all, other than this group of people, no one else would know of their plans. It was impossible for this plan to be leaked. Right now, I've already ordered my clan's assassination team to move out. I believe there will be good news very soon. Everyone just wait and see. Eat and drink your fill in peace. When I, Chao Zhengbin, make a move, there definitely won't be any big problems. Chao Zhengbin was calm and unruffled. His eyes were like those of a venomous snake. He was a man of action, never speaking nonsense. It was fine if he didn't make a move, but once he did, he definitely wouldn't give his prey a chance to live. It was precisely because of this that the core students present were extremely fearful of him, and didn't dare to offend him easily. Not bad, not bad. With old Chao's words we can rest assured. Once old Chao makes a move, we will know whether he's right or not. Alright, I'll eat and drink my fill and wait to watch a good show. The core students present all laughed loudly. Their hearts had all calmed down, no longer having any doubts. In any case, there was no turning back after a shot was fired. They had no way to retreat now. What show do you want to watch? Chapter 640. Who is it? Don't you fucking know that we core students are eating here? Hearing the loud noise, someone actually kicked open the door of their box. Instantly, a hot-tempered core student cursed loudly, unable to restrain his anger. Do you know who we are? Every single one of us is a core member of the major clans. A Grandmaster Realm expert. With a single word we can destroy a city or a country. How dare you fucking kick down the door? Who gave you the guts to do so? Do you know how the word death is written? A bald core student jumped out as well. He was so angry that his heart felt like it was going to explode. Originally they were in the box, happily eating, discussing how to deal with Xiaoping, and thinking about the bright future together. They were in a good mood, but now someone actually dared to kick open the door of their box. If this wasn't a death wish, what else could it be? Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Instantly the core students in the box were all furious. Staring at the door, their anger reached the heavens, and they swore to catch and kill the person who dared to kick open the door. No matter what background the other party had, they couldn't protect him. They wanted to let this guy taste the anger of a core student. I did it. Do you have any objections? With a bang, the smoke and dust dispersed. Instantly, an old man wearing a black robe walked in. His aura was like an abyss. Impressively, he was a king unfathomable. His eyes were like lightning, as if they could pierce through people's hearts and destroy their souls. It's the family head? Instantly, the bald core student was so scared that he wet his pants. His whole body went limp, as if at this moment, all the strength in his body had disappeared. He didn't dare to believe that at this time, he actually saw the family head of his family come. Usually, he didn't have the qualifications to see him, but now he appeared. Immediately, he felt a wave of unease in his heart. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. However, outside the door of the box, not only the black-robed old man appeared, but at the same time, many big shots also appeared. They all appeared in this place, and in an instant they surrounded the box. It was originally very spacious, but now that there were so many people, it instantly became crowded. At this time, the core students who were originally sitting there had a rather sloppy attitude. At this time, it was like a kitten whose tail had been stepped on, and they immediately jumped out of their chairs. Hua Gang and Chao Zhengbin were no exception. They were terrified to the extreme because their Hua and Chao family patriarchs had also come, appearing in this place. With so many big shots gathered together in this private room, and at such a sensitive time, no one would believe that there were no problems. Patriarch! Hua Gang trembled, his face deathly pale. The Hua family head sneered. Don't call me family head. My Hua family doesn't have an unfilial descendant like you. Bang! The voice was like a thunderclap, and it immediately scared Hua Gang so much that he collapsed onto the chair. He felt as if he had been struck by a bolt of lightning, and his soul was about to be destroyed. This was because the leader of his own family had actually said such words to him. Without an unfilial descendant like him, one could imagine how serious the situation would be. Even the Hua family had to abandon him to protect the king. Patriarchs, may I know why you are here? Among this group of core students, Chao Zhengbin was the calmest. He was not frightened by this group of big shots, and instead asked like this, wanting to know what had happened. The descendants of your Chao family are different indeed. Even at this time you still have the guts to ask such a question. Not bad indeed. An old man chuckled. The Chao family head sighed. What's the use of having guts? If it was used on the right path it would naturally be successful, but if it was used on the wrong path it would be harming others and oneself. Patriarch! Chao Zhengbin was also shocked, and his heart spasmed. He could feel that the gaze of the Chao family head looking at him was no longer as kind as before. Instead, it had become incomparably cold, as if he was a stranger. He could not help but feel bitter, and immediately knew that something big had happened. Looking at your expressions, you should not know what has happened, but I can tell you that you have been exposed, a yellow-robed old man said directly. Exposed? What was exposed? Could it be that it was because of that brat? Upon hearing this, the hearts of the core students present instantly trembled. They also recalled their scheme against Xiaoping because other than plotting against Xiaoping, they hadn't done anything major recently. Looking at your expressions, you should know what has happened. That's right, the matter of you guys trying to plot against Xiaoping and his family has already been known by the giant company. They sent people here to interrogate us, strongly requesting for compensation from our clan. If not, we will have to bear the consequences. Tell me, isn't this a big matter? An old man coldly spoke, staring at this group of core students. Impossible, how could we be discovered so quickly? Hua Gang involuntarily shouted. We just started our scheme, and everyone around us is our own people. We didn't even have time to act. Who was the one who leaked the secret? He simply didn't dare to believe his own ears. They had just started their scheme but they were already exposed. It was like a group of gangsters robbing a bank. They had just planned to rob the bank and were still discussing when to act when a group of policemen came knocking on their door and caught them. Not to mention how sullen they were now, they even had the thought of committing suicide. How could we be discovered so quickly? There's no wall in the world that doesn't have a crack. You guys thought that your plan was meticulous, but little did you know that it was full of loopholes. Once the giant company investigated, everything would be revealed. You guys have nowhere to run. The Hua family head shook his head and sighed. So, family head, are you guys here to capture us? Chao Zhengbin clenched his fists so tightly that his nails pierced into his flesh. He didn't even know that he was bleeding. It was as though he didn't feel any pain at this moment. That's right. The Chao family head said in a deep voice. You guys have already forgiven the heavens for your crimes. Although you didn't have time to act, you can still be forgiven. However, you can't escape punishment. All of you will be sent to the endless sea to temper yourselves and join the sinful army. If you don't advance to the king stage, you are not allowed to return. What? The core students present all went crazy. What was the endless sea? It was a boundless sea in the east of the cloud continent. That sea was boundless and there was no end to it. Even with the advancement of human technology, they still couldn't find the end of that sea. That sea was filled with demonic beasts. It was a dangerous place and could be said to be a forbidden zone for humans. If ordinary martial artists went there to temper themselves, they would only have a slim chance of survival. As for the sinful army, it was even more terrifying. Because in this era, the strength of a martial artist was very important. In order to avoid wasting martial force, Many martial artists who had committed serious crimes would be sent to the sinful army to fight as prisoners on death row. If they made contributions, they would be spared from death. However, most of the prisoners on death row would die in battle. Less than 1 out of 100 would survive. Chapter 641. Family Head, are you crazy? Huagang's expression was ferocious as he shouted, "We are just dealing with a commoner, and you actually want to send us core students with limitless futures to the endless ocean to join the sinful army and die. Plus, we haven't even done anything." He wasn't convinced. Xiaping was just a commoner. Compared to them who were of noble birth, he couldn't even be compared to their toes. The difference was like the clouds and mud. But now, just because they schemed against him, they had to be sent to the border army to die. How could he accept such a ridiculous evil thing? It was too ridiculous. It is because we haven't done anything yet. If we did, you wouldn't even have the chance to join the sinful army. Hua family's head said, "By letting you join the sinful army now, we are giving you a chance to live." A trace of benevolence from the giant company. He looked at this group of core students helplessly. "Benevolence, my ass." A core student's expression was extremely ferocious as he said crazily, "All of you are crazy, completely crazy. We are core students. Do you know what a core student is? All of us are geniuses with the potential to become kings. Yet, all of you are sending us king seedlings to die for a commoner. All of you are crazy. I won't follow your nonsense." He wasn't convinced and felt that such a thing was too ridiculous. All of you are geniuses and have the potential to become kings. Chao family's head nodded, but compared to Xiaping, you are nothing. He has the potential to become an invincible king. All of you geniuses added together won't be able to compare to him. That's why he made a phone call and shook the giant company. They will do their best to punish all of you. All of you can only obey. There is nothing you can do. This is the power of the weak. His tone was cruel. You are saying that with just a phone call from that kid, all of us core students, all of us masters, all of us geniuses will be sent to the border to join the sinful army and die? A core student's face was ashen white and his body was trembling. Right. Chao family's head nodded. Even if there were thousands of us core students, we still wouldn't be able to compare to that bastard. Even our families can't protect us, and we can only be treated as sacrificial pawns. Chao Zhengbin clenched his fists tightly, his heart twitching. Chao family's head looked at him deeply and nodded, right? I can't accept this. I refuse to accept this. I can't accept this. One by one, the core students began to shout, their faces contorted and their eyes bulging. They were all unwilling to accept this. Their voices were like thunder piercing the ears, shattering the glass in the surroundings, displaying their unwillingness to accept this. But thinking about it, how could they be convinced? In their eyes, Xiaping was just a bastard from the countryside. Even if he had some talent and won the championship, it didn't mean much. They were all core students as well as the descendants of kings. Their futures were boundless, so when had they ever looked up to these country bumpkins? If they found them displeasing to the eye, they would use their authority to trample them to death. In fact, they had also used this kind of power to kill countless commoner geniuses. However, those commoners had no power and could only swallow their anger. But now it was their turn. Just a single phone call from Xiaping and he didn't even need to show his face. Yet, their family members were already trembling in fear, kneeling and begging for mercy. Xiaping treated them like sacrificial pawns to appease the anger of the giant company. Initially, they wanted to use their power to bully Xiaping, but now they were being bullied by Xiaping using his power. With just a phone call and without even meeting them, they were sent to the border and sent to die in the army. It was as easy as stepping on ants. After hearing these words, their hearts were incomparably sullen and incomparably angry. Since when did core students like them fall to such a state? This was simply too ridiculous. Family head, this matter is too ridiculous. It's just a mere championship. What does this count for? We are all geniuses with the potential to become kings. How can we abandon us because of that slut? That's right. Because of such a small matter, we were forced to die in the endless sea and even joined the sinful army. This is simply too ridiculous. I will definitely not agree to such a thing. What the hell does the giant company count for? If all of us king families join forces, we can still fight against them. Many core students were shouting crazily. They couldn't accept such a thing at all. Thinking back to when they were still core students with high statuses and power, staying in the flourishing human cities, eating and drinking well. Who knew how many people flattered them and their lives were so comfortable? But in the next second, they were sent to the endless sea where even birds could lay eggs and had to join the sinful army to fight. They were no different from prisoners. This situation was too tragic. You guys don't understand. The Chow family head shook his head and revealed a trace of bitterness. The three great forces of the cloud world are above countless martial arts organizations and even the government. How can they be so simple? They are usually like sleeping beasts. It's fine if you don't wake them up, but once you do, you will have to face their terrifying rage. Obviously, your actions have touched the bottom line, the reverse scale, and caused the rage of many kings. He didn't want to do such a thing, but facing such a huge monster, the Chow family had no way to resist. King tiers are not the same. There are also different ranks. The master of the Hua family clenched his fists. An ordinary king is just an ant of the lowest rank. Although such a king can show off in front of ordinary warriors, in front of a king of the invincible realm, he is not much stronger than an ant. He can only bow and scrape. Just the appearance of such an invincible king in the giant company is enough to wipe out all of our families dozens of times. So, the difference between geniuses and monsters is like the clouds and mud. In the eyes of the giant company, you guys are the same as the weeds by the roadside. It's normal for hundreds of you to die. His words were very cold. In reality, after advancing to the king realm, he knew how big the world was. The so-called king realm was just the beginning, the first step of a long journey of 10,000 miles. Of course, if he didn't advance, it couldn't even be counted as the beginning. Our status is the same as the weeds by the roadside? It's normal for hundreds of us to die? Hearing this, Hua Gang and the others felt their hearts twitch. They didn't dare to believe that the Hua family head would say such a thing. It was a huge blow to their self-confidence. Take them away. Send them to the endless sea. We don't want to make the people of the giant company wait too long and anger them. The Chow family head waved his hand, and instantly men in black appeared nearby. With a swoosh, they acted instantly and restrained these core students. Then they put on special shackles and instantly suppressed their cultivation, turning them into mortals. They could no longer use any inner chi. Chapter 642. Seeing Hua Gang and the others being taken away, a family head couldn't bear it and said, "Are we just going to watch them be taken away and sent to the endless sea to become the sinners' army?" He still felt that it was too much for the geniuses of his family to be sent to the endless sea. If we don't do this, will we be able to appease the anger of the giant company? The Hua family head asked. The surrounding people were silent. If they didn't do this, they would definitely be discovered by the giant company. Once the giant company found out that they were deceiving them, the punishment wouldn't be so simple. Maybe their entire family would be heavily injured. Also, sending them to the endless sea to train is not necessarily a bad thing. The head of the Chow clan said faintly, "They were born in big clans and are used to living like princes. They have never experienced anything dangerous. Deep in their bones, they lack the fierceness of a warrior, the aura of not caring about their lives. If this continues, they will never be able to reach the king realm. Although they have talent, it is just talent. There are a lot of people who have talent but can't reach the king realm. There is no lack of such mediocre people in the world." Everyone nodded. Every year, there were many students who became core students of various universities. However, most of these core students would never be able to reach the king realm. If they wanted to reach the king realm, it was not enough to rely on resources. They had to rely on their own comprehension and various opportunities. Without these opportunities, it was normal to be stuck at the bottleneck for the rest of their lives. Indeed, if they don't become kings, they will always be ants. I would rather they die in battle with the monster race than to see them live a mediocre life. This trip to the endless sea is also an opportunity for them. The head of the Hua family also nodded in agreement. But what about that kid called Xiaoping? This time, because of him, our family suffered heavy losses. Are we just going to let it go? A family head said in a low voice. The Chow family head spread his hands. If we don't let it go, Do we still want to find trouble with him? Right now, Xiaoping has become the treasurer of the giant company. There are people monitoring him at all times. If we dare to do anything to him, the next day our families will be destroyed. This is not a joke. His tone was very solemn. He didn't want the others to act rashly. The other family heads nodded. They all knew how terrifying the giant company was. Naturally, they wouldn't act rashly. And this is just a small matter. The Chao clan's clan head said in a deep voice, "It's just a bunch of juniors messing around here. There's no need to raise it to the level of mortal enemies. Furthermore, it's even more unwise to become enemies with a monster with a boundless future. It's fine if he dies along the way, but if he continues to advance and becomes an invincible king, then it will be the time for our family to be destroyed. Don't be careless." He was not joking when he warned the other patriarchs. It was the truth. The champions of every genius battle would basically ascend to the king realm without exception. There were even a few invincible kings who shook the world. From this, it could be seen that the battle of geniuses was not a trivial matter. That was why it had become a huge competition that attracted the attention of the entire sky realm. Even the kings would pay attention to it. Moreover, this matter was only a matter of the younger generation messing around. Huagang and the others hadn't even made a move yet, so there wasn't any trouble at all. Thus it wasn't a big deal. They also didn't want to completely offend Xiaoping because of this matter. There was no room for redemption. The Hua clan's clan had also reminded the crowd, "Let this matter end like this. Let it drift away with the wind. No one is allowed to mention it. Just pretend that nothing happened." The other clan heads also nodded. They naturally knew the severity of the matter. Not long after Huagang and the others were taken away, Xiaoping also received a call from Supervisor Liang Quan. The other party told him that the matter had been completely resolved, and there was no more trouble. Huagang and the others were sent to the army. They couldn't ascend to the king realm and couldn't return from the endless sea. The problem was that ascending to the king realm was simply 1 in 10,000. It could be said that Huagang and the others were equivalent to being exiled. Even if they wanted to return, who knew how many years it would take? Right, I also want to tell you that the Celestial Demon battlefield will open in a month. During this time you have to conserve your energy and don't act recklessly. Otherwise, if you get injured and enter the Celestial Demon battlefield, I'm afraid there will be big trouble. Liang Quan reminded him. Xiaoping nodded to show that he understood. Also, you won the championship of the genius battle this time. Of course, it's a good thing to celebrate, but the problem is that you will definitely become the target of public criticism and face great pressure. Liang Quan said in a deep voice, "Every genius battle's champion will become the target of the demon race's geniuses. It seems to have become a proof of their bravery. Therefore, you will be in great danger when you enter the Celestial Demon battlefield this time. You must be careful. If you can increase your strength, do it as much as possible. Otherwise, you might die inside." He warned sternly because every genius battle's champion would be ambushed and killed. After all, being targeted by the demon race's geniuses was no different from being targeted by the Grim Reaper. Moreover, being targeted by the demon race's geniuses was a very normal thing. After all, every genius battle's champion had the potential to become an invincible king. Once they grew up, they would definitely be a great threat to the demon race. Therefore, the demon race naturally wouldn't be polite to Xiaoping. They wanted to get rid of him as soon as possible. Many of the demon race's members had even issued orders to kill him. Once they succeeded, they would obtain many benefits. In any case, they couldn't take revenge for anything that happened in the Celestial Demon battlefield. Even if they died, they would die in vain. Alright, got it. Xiaoping immediately turned serious. He knew that only experts below the Martial Master realm could enter the Celestial Demon battlefield. Experts above the Grandmaster realm couldn't enter, as there was a limit to their strength. However, after entering, they could break through to the Grandmaster realm, greatly increasing their strength. The Celestial Demon battlefield didn't restrict the people inside from increasing their strength. This was a kind of rule. Many Ninth Firmament Martial Masters would break through to the Grandmaster realm in the Celestial Demon battlefield, gaining a great advantage. Although Shao Chun was an 8th Firmament Martial Master and could sweep away Martial Masters, if those geniuses advanced to the Grandmaster realm, their strength would undergo a tremendous change. If Xiao Chan wanted to survive in the celestial demon battlefield, he had to continue growing stronger. It would be best if he advanced to the 9th firmament martial master. Only then would he be confident of dealing with the demon race's geniuses, and even some enemies with ill intentions. Alright, that's all. As long as you understand. Liang Quan didn't say much, as he felt that Xia Ping was also a smart person. He would understand after a little guidance. There was no need to be long-winded. After saying this, Liang Quan hung up. Chapter 643. The problem was that in just a month, it was extremely difficult to advance from the 8th to the 9th level of the martial master realm. The later it was, the more time it would take to advance to the next level. It was normal for some people to spend 2 or 3 years to advance from the 8th level of the martial master realm to the 9th level of the martial master realm. Even if Xia Ping wanted to advance quickly, he had to consider his martial arts foundation. If he advanced too quickly, his foundation would be unstable, and it would be a great obstacle to advancing to the king realm. Therefore, he didn't want to be too fast. As the saying goes, haste makes waste. System, do you have any way to improve my current combat strength? Thinking of this, Xia Ping immediately asked. He felt that the super hatred system on him was simply a martial arts legend. It was probably much higher than the king realm. If he asked, he might get a good suggestion. The system said, you need to spend 100,000 hatred points to inquire. Check. Xia Ping was very rich. He had 60 million hatred points on him. It didn't matter how he spent it. Anyway, he would continue to earn it. He was the best at attracting hatred. With a beep, the system said, according to the test, the host has a treasure soul-absorbing bell on him. If he cultivates a peerless cultivation technique that matches the soul-absorbing bell, it will greatly increase the host's strength. Peerless cultivation technique? What is it? Xia Ping immediately asked. The system said, a sound wave cultivation technique, king-level peerless, called Epic of Heaven Incomplete, requires 15 million hatred points. 15 million hatred points. Hearing this, Xia Ping was also shocked. He didn't expect a cultivation technique to cost so much. However, if the cultivation technique was upgraded by 1 level, its power would increase exponentially, and its value would also be reversed. It was normal for it to cost more than 10 million hatred points. On the other hand, if the hatred points were low, it proved that this cultivation technique was not very powerful. Epic of Heaven? What kind of sound wave cultivation technique is this? Xia Ping asked. The system explained, this is a music score. When you circulate your qigong and play the Epic of Heaven, it will produce mental illusions. If a martial artist's mental strength is not strong enough, they will immediately sink, as if they have ascended to heaven, and their soul will unknowingly be freed. Even a martial artist with strong mental strength would be in a trance for a moment, and it would be almost impossible for the host to resist. With a moment of time, the host would be able to kill the enemy. If the host were to use the spirit bewitching bell, then it would be practically invincible, and its power would multiply. Even a powerhouse who had just entered the master stage would unknowingly fall for it. Moreover, this is also a skill for group attacks. It won't be a problem even if it's surrounded. One move will be able to make the enemy who is enveloped by the mental power fall into oblivion. It described the benefits of this technique. Good technique, exchange for it immediately. Xia Ping's eyes immediately lit up. To be honest, what he lacked the most was an effective method to deal with a large number of enemies. If he were to face a siege, he would not be able to effectively kill the enemy. As the saying goes, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. This was not as simple as it seemed. If he could learn this sound wave cultivation technique, he would be able to make his enemies fall into oblivion in an instant. Then, no matter how many of them joined forces, he would be able to easily kill them all. This would greatly increase his combat effectiveness. Rumble. At this moment, a warm current instantly flowed into Xia Ping's mind. His body trembled as if musical notes were playing in the depths of his mind. This was a piece of music. When the Epic of Heaven was played, Xia Ping felt that his surroundings had changed. It was as if he was in heaven and his surroundings were a vast expanse of whiteness. A white sun appeared in the sky, emitting warm holy light that shone into the depths of his soul. He felt warm, as if all his sins in his life had been forgiven. He felt incomparably at ease. Many angels appeared in the surroundings. They had white wings and each feather contained holy energy. It was as if they were holding a Bible in their hands. They were surrounding him and constantly reciting the Bible, as if they were praying for his blessings. At this moment his soul seemed to have undergone a huge change. White wings grew on his back, turning him into an angel. At this moment Xia Ping seemed to have completely fallen into oblivion. He felt as if he had entered heaven. His heart was filled with satisfaction and happiness. All his worries disappeared at this moment. Right now he just wanted to stay in heaven, fly freely and enjoy this paradise. Bang! After an unknown period of time, when the Epic of Heaven was played, Xia Ping felt as if the entire world had collapsed. With a kacha sound it cracked from the middle like glass. And he fell from heaven and returned to the real world. What a powerful cultivation technique. At this moment Xia Ping finally came back to his senses. He was shocked. Even with his strong willpower, he had actually fallen into the Epic of Heaven. When the divine song was played, all sorts of beautiful feelings appeared in his heart. He was completely immersed in it. Even though he knew that this was an illusion, he could not bear to leave. He wanted nothing more than to be freed to go to heaven, to become an angel, and to enjoy the bliss of the human world. If the heavenly dragon's music was an offensive sound wave cultivation technique, it would contain unparalleled destructive power. The power of the sound waves was strong enough to pierce through gold and crack rocks. It was indestructible. As for the Epic of Heaven, it was a deceitful sound wave cultivation technique. It could distort one's mind and affect one's soul. Although it did not have terrifying killing power, it could kill without leaving a trace. Often, the enemy would fall into the darkness without knowing what was going on, sinking into oblivion forever. If it was used with a treasure like the soul-sucking bell, its power would increase by several times. Even an expert who had just entered the master realm would fall for it if they were not careful. Even their soul would be affected. Moreover, it basically covered an area. No matter how many people came, it would be useless. As expected of a peerless king-level cultivation technique. So powerful. Xia Ping was extremely shocked, but at the same time he felt happy. The 15 million hate points were really worth it. It was estimated that there would not be such a sound wave cultivation technique in the entire cloud realm. It was too strange and powerful. It could kill people without leaving a trace. Now his mental strength was very strong, enough to cover a range of 2 or 3 kilometers. Of course, if he wanted to perform the Epic of Heaven, he had to compress his mental strength crazily so that it could play its role. Probably the range of the Epic of Heaven was only 100 meters. Even so, it was enough. If someone dared to step within 100 meters of him, even an expert at the Master Realm would probably fall in an instant. At this time he could take the opportunity to kill them. Chapter 644. At the same time, the news of Xia Ping becoming the champion of the genius battle had spread to every corner of the Cloud Realm, especially to the martial arts clans. They all started to take action. I didn't expect the champion of this year's genius battle to be a commoner, and not a genius from a sovereign clan. What an eye-opener, someone lamented. The genius battle had been held many times, and almost every time, it was a genius from a sovereign clan who won. It was almost impossible for a commoner to stand out and become the champion. Not to mention talent, just the resources they had were not on the same level. Commoners had to painstakingly absorb the world's spiritual energy, but a member of a sovereign clan could casually take pills. One pill was equivalent to several months of ordinary geniuses' cultivation. How could they compete? It's good that he's a commoner. This proves that this young man is a peerless talent. He's a future sovereign. If our clan can unite with him through marriage, won't we have a huge backer? Someone wanted to send his daughter to marry Xia Ping. After all, anyone with a discerning eye could discern that Xia Ping's future was bright. And if nothing unexpected occurred, then advancing into the king realm was a certainty. If they could hold on to this strong backing, wouldn't they be able to live a good life in the future? He couldn't imagine what it would be like to have a sovereign backing their clan. They could do whatever they wanted in the cloud realm, and not many people would dare to provoke them. But according to the grapevine, that kid seems to be very dissolute. I don't know how many girlfriends he has, And he even wants to make a move on his teacher. Someone inquired about Xia Ping's dark side. He's a young man, so it's normal for him to be hot-blooded. Being dissolute is the nature of a man. He's just a little explicit and not reserved. That's true. It's normal for a sovereign to have many women around him. Nowadays, the disciples of the great clans who have a bit of ability all have many wives and concubines. Even if they only have a wife on the surface, they have a bunch of lovers in the dark. It's not strange at all. It would be strange if he didn't. I'd wonder if there's something wrong with him in that area. In any case, no matter what his personality is like, the key is to be able to establish a relationship with such a genius with a bright future. Immediately instruct some marriageable girls in the family to get in touch with him. If he takes a liking to them, then our family will probably become a phoenix. When a man achieves the Tao, even his chickens and dogs will ascend to heaven. Even if he doesn't take a liking to me, I have to find a way to have a relationship with that young man and obtain his genes. It would be best if I can get pregnant with his child. That's right. What kind of monstrous talent is this? I reckon that even if his descendants are weak, they won't be too weak. If they have a descendant with the aptitude of a king, then wouldn't our clan be heaven-defying? It's better than any other business. Indeed, this is a profitable business. Countless big shots of the martial arts world were discussing this matter. They decided to send the young girls of their own families to establish a relationship with Xia Ping and deliver sugar-coated bullets. Some of the smaller clans even had bad ideas. Even if they couldn't marry Xia Ping, they still wanted to find a way to let the young girls of their clans have relations with him and obtain the bloodline of their descendants. In fact, inheriting the bloodline of a powerhouse was a way to create a large number of geniuses. Most of the king clans developed this way. Those descendants inherited the excellent aptitude of a king, and as a result, they became extremely powerful and dominated the world. For some of the smaller clans, such geniuses didn't need too many. Even if just one appeared, it would be enough for them to reap endless benefits. One day later at Yanhuang University, the elite students participating in the competition, including Xia Ping, all boarded the warship and returned to Yanhuang University. At this time, Yanhuang University was decorated with lanterns and streamers. There was a huge banner hanging on the door with a dozen words written on it, warmly congratulating our student Xia Ping for winning the genius competition. After all, this kind of competition only took place once every few years. It was considered a grand event in the cloud realm, similar to the Olympics on Earth. Winning the championship would bring great popularity. In particular, Yanhuang University hadn't had a champion in more than 10 years. Now that one had appeared, one could imagine how excited the higher-ups of the university were. Whoosh! The elite students alighted from the warship and landed on the square of Yanhuang University. They were immediately warmly congratulated. Countless students appeared there, as if they were welcoming a hero. As the champion, Xia Ping was naturally the focus of the crowd. Look, the elite students are back. I heard that this is Yanhuang University's best result in history. More than 100 people entered the top 10,000. And the champion is also from our university. I didn't expect it to be that bastard Xia Ping. The heavens really have no eyes. But I have to admit it. You'll know after watching the live broadcast that his strength is enough to suppress everyone. He's an elite student among his peers who are still in their first year. He even won the genius competition. This is too exaggerated. Many students looked at the group of elite students and sighed. Because of what had happened before, some of them didn't have a good impression of Xia Ping. However, they had to admit that Xia Ping had won the genius competition. Such a thing had already exceeded their imagination. How lively! Xia Ping looked around the square. He was already used to the stairs and didn't feel anything special. He immediately wanted to leave and return to his villa. Whoosh! 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 At this time, a group of beautiful women walked out from among the students. Such women could be called an army of beauties. As soon as these women appeared, they became the focus of many men. Some were pure, some were sexy, some were cold, some were mature, some were twins, and some were mature. All kinds of beauties appeared in this place. They were dressed to the nines. When they saw Xia Ping, they immediately rushed up and surrounded him like hungry wolves looking at sheep. Is this the genius competition's champion, Xiaoping? I finally see him in person. He's just like on TV. He's tall and handsome. So handsome. I like domineering men like him. His muscles are so fierce. It seems that even some of the elite students with godly strength are no match for him. That's normal. Without this kind of strength, he can't suppress everyone and win the championship. I wonder how his ability is in that area. Can he also suppress everyone? Chapter 645. Female hooligans, what do you want? Xiaoping was a little confused. He didn't expect to be surrounded by so many girls as soon as he got off the ship. Moreover, all of them were bold and passionate. They looked at him as if they wanted to eat him up. He immediately knew that these girls were definitely hooligans among hooligans. I don't want to do anything. I just like you. Be my man. A girl with a pure face straightforwardly stated her purpose. She wanted Xiaoping to be her man. She was very direct. She was like a fake queen who would knock a handsome guy out and take him away. You're my type. Come and marry me. A girl with long legs was very bold. However, when she said these words, her pretty face turned red. It seemed that she had used up all of her energy. A domineering girl giggled. I want to have some profound and simple exchanges with you. I wonder if that's possible? Her beautiful eyes were extremely charming, revealing a myriad of amorous feelings. I want your ancestral chromosomes. A girl wearing glasses spoke very subtly. However, her eyes seemed to be staring at a certain part of Xiaoping's body. All the girls present looked at Xiaoping passionately. It was as if they wanted to knock him out and take him away. They were all ordered by their respective families to build a good relationship with Xiaoping. No matter what price they had to pay, they had to bring this rich husband back to their families. Some families even strongly requested that it was fine even if they didn't have the status. In short, they had to obtain his ancestral chromosomes. Even if they couldn't bring the older one, they had to bring the younger one. However, it didn't mean that they were all forced. They were unwilling and unwilling. After all, Xiaoping was the champion of the genius competition. He was talented and had a bright future. He had a lot of money on him and was rich enough to rival a country. He was also young. If they could make such a man their husband, it would be equivalent to marrying a king. Such a good thing couldn't be found anywhere else. Therefore, how could these girls not be willing? Beast! Seeing such a scene, the eyes of the elite students in the surroundings turned green. They were simply envious, jealous, and hateful. When had there ever been beauties confessing to their faces like this? Moreover, there were so many of them. It was too unreasonable. Why could this guy get the favor of so many beautiful girls? Was this reasonable? You want me to be your husband? But I'm not a good person, Xiaoping reminded them. A long-legged girl giggled. It's okay. I just like bad guys. I'm very promiscuous. I often go to places that hide filth. Xiaoping gritted his teeth. An older sister-like girl waved her hand. It's fine. Which man doesn't like to have sex? This is a normal physiological need. I completely understand and even support it. You can go if you pay. Supporting him? Giving him money to go. The faces of the surrounding boys turned green. How could they support such a thing? This was too much. I also like to cheat. Even if I'm married, I won't stop. I'm used to cheating, and I like to seduce married women. My morals are quite corrupt. Xiaoping blinked. A hot girl looked at Xiaoping lovingly. It's just a small matter. I'm broad-minded and won't care about such a small matter. As long as you love me, I can tolerate everything. She stepped forward and hugged Xiaoping's arm, letting him feel the vastness of her chest. How could he tolerate this? A group of men gnashed their teeth. Tears streamed down their cheeks. They simply wished they could kill Xiaoping and replace him. Even if he cheated, he could tolerate it. This was really too happy. The problem is, I've already stepped on more than 10 boats. I've made many women pregnant. I have a lot of dark history. I also like to abandon them. Xiaoping self-destructed, saying that he was not a good man. Since you've already stepped on so many boats, you won't mind stepping on one more? Yeah, make me pregnant. It doesn't matter if I abandon them. As long as there's love, even if you're a beast, it's okay. Even if you have 3 or 4 wives, I can accept it. A group of girls chattered with affection. They revealed a look of letting Xiaoping do whatever he wanted. It seemed that as long as Xiaoping was willing, he could take off their clothes and directly take them to bed. Adulterer. In the distance, Suji also saw this scene. She clenched her teeth. She extremely despised this group of women, as well as that extremely thick-skinned man. Her heart also felt extremely depressed, because she was also instructed by some of the Su family's elders that if she had the opportunity, she must have a good relationship with Xiaoping. If she could hook this rich husband, that would be the best. Some of the elders even hinted her that if necessary, she could take the initiative to seduce him. Hearing these words, she simply exploded with anger. She was a dignified, proud daughter of heaven. How could she do such a shameless thing? How could she marry such a shameless bastard? Wasn't this clearly asking her to fall into a pit of fire? However, she couldn't disobey the Su family's elders' order. So, she hastily came here to give an explanation to her family. She didn't expect that she would encounter such a thing. It was too disgusting. What's so good about this bastard? Why are they so shameless? They don't even have the dignity of a woman. How despicable. Suji exploded with anger. She had the urge to hit Xiaoping with a brick. At the same time, she also wanted to scold those shameless women. Can't do anything about it. Who told him to be a big shot? That's right. Becoming the champion of the genius competition is quite an achievement. In the future, he will certainly be a king. His future is limitless. Who doesn't want to marry a king? Once he succeeds, he will certainly enjoy a lifetime of glory, splendor, and wealth. It's not that I can't understand these women's thoughts. In this day and age, even if you get married, you might still get a divorce. Even if you love each other, you might still have an affair after marriage. Don't think that an affair has anything to do with whether the man is rich or not. Even a poor man will have an affair. That's right. Since that's the case, it doesn't matter who you marry. Why not marry someone from a better family? In this way, even if you get a divorce, you can still divide some of the property and live a better life. If you marry a king, that's a great fortune. It's simply incredible. Even chickens and dogs rise to heaven. The girls around Suji were all chattering with emotion. You guys. Suji gritted her teeth. She didn't expect that her friends would actually start to rebel one by one. They all began to speak up for that shameless man. One must know that before, they were the ones who wanted to kill Xiaoping, wanting to kill this lecher. But since Xiaoping became an elite student and now the champion of the genius competition, each and every one of them changed their attitude. They seemed to want Xiaoping to take responsibility. Chapter 646. Hearing this, Suji was suddenly discouraged. She knew that her sisters have been completely brainwashed by that bastard. Moreover, her sisters may have been greatly influenced and pressured by their family. If she was not here to suppress them, they may also be like that group of SO women, flying over like moths to the flame. At this time, when Xiaoping heard these words, his eyes suddenly lit up. Although he doesn't know why these women want to marry him so much, and even willing to have 3 or 4 concubines, but there's no reason not to eat the meat that is delivered to his door. Even if it's a sugar-coated bullet, he will eat the sugar coating and send the bullet back. He coughed and righteously said, Ahem, there are too many people here. Why don't we go back to my villa and talk about it in detail? Of course, don't misunderstand, we're just talking. Talk my ass. The surrounding students were baring their teeth. Once these women enter your villa, wouldn't that be like sheep entering a wolf's den? At that time, no matter how they want to toss and turn, they will be tossed and turned. Clearly, this kid is up to no good and wants to do bad things. But they were also depressed because these women simply delivered themselves to his door. It seems that they can't wait to strip off their clothes and be eaten by this kid. What do we want to talk about in your villa? An innocent girl blinked her pure eyes, as if she didn't know what Xiaoping meant. You'll know when the time comes. It's a story about life experience. It will make people grow up overnight and understand a lot. Xiaoping carelessly said. It will definitely benefit you a lot. What a beast. A group of men's eyes turned red. This bastard is clearly here to seduce a little white rabbit. Such a good girl. But now she is going to suffer from this kid's evil hands and grow up overnight. They don't know how much this little beauty will be ravaged tomorrow. Animal. Suji spat at Xiaoping's face. This is an open and above-board date, but he still said it in such a righteous way. This kid's face is several times thicker than the city wall. The girls around her also blushed. They also understood Xiaoping's meaning. But with so many girls at once, they don't know if his body can stand it. Isn't he afraid of dying from excessive ejaculation? It's better to do this kind of thing in moderation. Go to your villa? Yes, of course. I heard that it's a villa in the elite area. I wonder how beautiful it is. I've been wanting to go there for a long time. I love chatting the most. When the time comes, you must tell me about your glorious deeds. That's right. Don't try anything funny. She's a weak woman. If you use force, you won't be able to reject her. Then what are we waiting for? Let's hurry up and go. The eyes of many women lit up. This was a great opportunity. Moreover, they would be able to share a room with Xiaoping. At that time, wouldn't it be easy to imagine what would happen? If they took this opportunity to eat this man, they would be rich. Thinking of this, all of them became restless and impatient. Why are you leaving? How dare you do such a dirty thing in broad daylight? Has your sense of propriety and honor been eaten by dogs? Suddenly, a furious roar rang out. The temperature of the entire world seemed to have dropped by dozens of degrees. It was as if a world of ice and snow had descended. A terrifying cold current enveloped the surroundings. The ground seemed to have frozen. Large snowflakes were falling from the sky. It was a vast expanse of white. Everyone couldn't help but shiver. Their bodies trembled and they had goosebumps. Then, a woman in white flew over from afar and landed in front of Xiaoping and the others. This woman was Qiuxiu. What a beautiful woman! A boy with a crew cut was immediately infatuated and became a die-hard fan. He felt as if he had fallen in love at this moment and couldn't extricate himself. Not only this student with a crew cut, but many of the students present also revealed looks of admiration. This woman was really beautiful. Her temperament was outstanding like a fairy. Even though there were many beautiful girls present compared to her, they were like pheasants compared to phoenixes. Qiuxiu, this is the core student Qiuxiu. So it's the famous senior sister Qiuxiu. No wonder she's so beautiful. Of course. She and Su Mei are known as the diamonds of Yanhuang University. It's said that senior sister Qiuxiu seemed to have a scandal with Xiaoping. The two of them have an indescribable relationship. She must be here to catch the adulterer. Now that guy is dead. He has been caught in bed by the wife of the palace's wife. He's going to lose 2 layers of skin. It's best to get rid of the source of his troubles. That's the end of it, lest he continue to harm innocent women. A group of students suddenly showed a look of schadenfreude. They were watching a good show. Now even the rumored girlfriend had come. They didn't know how this guy would be punished. Senior sister Qiuxiu. The girls around were also surprised. They didn't expect that the famous Qiuxiu would also come. They were suddenly shocked. In the face of such a goddess-like figure, they suddenly had the guts. You can go. I have something to discuss with him. Qiuxiu waved to the group of girls and said straightforwardly. After that, she grabbed Xiaoping. Regardless of whether Xiaoping was willing or not, she directly grabbed him and flew into the air. Xiaoping! A group of girls all exclaimed. But Qiuxiu was an expert at the Grandmaster Peak. How could they compare with her? Before they could react, Xiaoping disappeared from where he was. And there was only a group of students left at the scene, looking at each other at a loss. Haha, this little bastard is going to be unlucky. He will definitely be severely taught a lesson by senior sister Qiuxiu. He is shameless to the extreme to let him have sex everywhere. Seeing this situation, Suji felt extremely comfortable. She thought that Xiaoping's behavior must have completely angered Qiuxiu, so he was taken away to be taught a lesson. She was very looking forward to seeing Xiaoping's miserable appearance after being taught a lesson. At this time, on the roof of a teaching building in Yanhuang University, Qiuxiu suddenly grabbed Xiaoping and brought him to this place. There were no students around, and it was very empty. Honey, why did you take me away? Are you jealous because so many women want to eat me? But you can rest assured that even if they can get my body, they can't get my heart. I love you the most. Xiaoping said carelessly, indicating that he loved Qiuxiu the most. Even if he was insulted by a group of female hooligans, His heart would still not have any change. The sky and the moon could be seen. Who will be jealous? Don't talk nonsense. Chapter 647. Well, if you say you're not jealous, then it's not. Xiaoping nodded, showing that he understood. After all, everyone who was seen through would be a little angry. He wouldn't take it too far. What's with that look? Qiushi was embarrassed and annoyed. What did this bastard say? He obviously didn't think that way. But in the blink of an eye, she seemed to have thought of a problem. She immediately said proudly, "Are you very angry that I ruined your good time? So you said this to anger me?" Originally, she wanted to look for Xiaoping at any time, but seeing a group of women surrounding Xiaoping, he actually dared to openly ask for a pow here. It was simply shameless to the extreme. If this kind of atmosphere was allowed to spread, what would the whole Yanhuang University become? Previously, when he was in high school, this brat began to corrupt the school's atmosphere. She didn't expect that he would start to do the same when he came to university. As a teacher, she immediately stood up to stop this shameless behavior. It's okay. I can ask them out whenever I want. And I already have their contact information. Xiaoping smiled slightly. Just now, those women were relentless. He didn't know what methods they used, but they actually found his phone number. They all sent messages to him one by one, hoping to become friends with him. Bastard! Qiushu gritted her teeth. She was stunned. She didn't expect those women to hook up with Xiaoping so quickly and even have his contact information. She immediately felt a burst of anger. Didn't this mean that what she did was useless? This man is really a super hooligan. With a swoosh, a figure flashed. The air was filled with a pleasant smell, like roses, like plum blossoms. Even the world's top perfume couldn't compare. This graceful figure immediately appeared in front of Xiaoping. Her figure was extremely hot, and she was extremely charming. She was simply a seductive vixen that could charm people to death. Su Mei's wife is also here. Xiaoping also recognized the identity of this woman. Hearing this, Su Mei's face darkened. She wanted to hit him. This hooligan's dog mouth can't spit out ivory. Alright, don't be so talkative. I have something to talk to you about. Qiushi was speechless. This little bastard was still the same as before. She thought that after becoming the champion with responsibility, he would be calmer. She didn't expect that he would still be so infuriating. However, seeing Su Mei being defeated still made her feel good. You have something to talk to me about? What is it? Xiaoping asked curiously. Hearing this, Qiushu said seriously, "You've helped me a lot in this battle of geniuses, allowing me to obtain some benefits. In return, I want to tell you a piece of information as repayment." Helped you a lot? When did I help you? Xiaoping was very confused. He didn't seem to have met Qiushu during the genius battle, so how did she help him? You don't need to know how to help. Qiushu would not stupidly reveal the matter of her betting with many core students. Otherwise, she would definitely be extorted by this brat and extorted money. In short, you will enter the Sky Demon battlefield in a month. I guess you don't know much about that place now. She looked at Xiaoping. It's not that I don't know anything about it. After the genius battle ended, the school leaders sent me some information about the Heavenly Demon battlefield. I read it carefully and have a preliminary understanding of it. Xiaoping said solemnly. The Heavenly Demon battlefield had been discovered for so many years, and a group of people would enter almost every few years. Over time, many secrets and information about the Heavenly Demon battlefield were revealed and known to humans. Through the information, he knew that the Heavenly Demon battlefield was originally a paradise, a small world. Many spirit herbs grew in this small world, and the heaven and earth spirit chi was rich. It was known as a holy land for demons. However, in ancient times, many demon races were at odds with each other. In order to snatch this small world and make it their own, they engaged in an earth-shattering war. In the end, the Heavenly Demon battlefield became a forbidden land. Space collapsed and there were spatial turbulence everywhere. Evil demons ran amok. Even so, there were still many spirit herbs, spirit fruits, spirit veins, and even treasures left behind by demon kings after they died. There were also various inheritances. These things were of great benefit to living beings, so they fought over them crazily. Yes, it's about the same as what you know. However, the heavenly demon battlefield is just too big. Choshu said, even after countless years of wandering, humans and demons have only discovered a small part of the area. They don't know much about most of the areas because those places are too dangerous. No one dares to barge in. Xiaoping nodded. He also knew from the public information that there were still many mysterious areas in the heavenly demon battlefield, and no one knew what secrets these areas had. It was precisely because of this that there were many secrets to be unearthed and countless inheritances. The heavenly demon battlefield had endless charm and attracted countless geniuses. I went to the heavenly demon battlefield once before. Choshu looked at Xiaoping and said, it can be said that I learned a lot of secrets in there. I adventured along the way and found 100-year-old white spirit ginseng fruit in a hidden valley. At that time it was not ripe, so I did not pick it. It's been a few years now, so it should be almost ripe. If you obtain that white spirit ginseng fruit, you will definitely be able to advance to the Grandmaster realm. White spirit ginseng fruit. Upon hearing this, Xiaoping was shocked. He knew that this was a rare spirit fruit in the world. It had majestic medicinal power. Once consumed, it was equivalent to gaining decades of cultivation power. The benefits were endless. This kind of spirit fruit had no price in the market because no one would take it out to sell. The real top-notch treasures did not even have a price. They could only be bartered. That valley is very secretive. No one should know about it except me. If you go to that valley, you will be able to get it easily. Choshu looked at Xiaoping. I will send you a map and other information about this valley by email. Then she also talked about some things to pay attention to in the heavenly demon battlefield, as well as many dangerous places. If one accidentally walked in, even a grandmaster would die. These were the experiences of those who had entered the heavenly demon battlefield. They were extremely precious. It was a danger that could not be shown in the information. It benefited Xiaoping a lot, and could be considered as having a systematic understanding of the heavenly demon battlefield. Well, that's about it. This is what I know. Choshu said in a deep voice, I can't help you no matter what. I hope you can have a good harvest in the heavenly demon battlefield. Most importantly, don't die in the hands of those demons. After speaking, she took a deep look at Xiaoping and turned to leave. Chapter 648. At this moment, the Thousand Monster Mountain was a sacred mountain of the monster race. However, it didn't just represent one huge mountain. It was a continuous mountain range that covered an area of tens of thousands of kilometers. The mountains were extremely majestic and reached into the clouds. All the kings and their descendants lived in these mountains. It was the sacred land of the monster race. At the same time, on one of the mountain peaks of the Thousand Monster Mountain, there was a gigantic palace. Many geniuses of the monster race were gathered inside. They were all geniuses from different races. The result of the human genius battle is out. The winner seems to be a human called Xiaoping. The one who spoke was a golden lion. It was huge, 4 to 5 meters tall. Its 4 hooves stood on the ground, looking extremely powerful. Its fur was golden as if it was made of gold. Its eyes shone and strands of golden light descended from the sky, shining brightly. A terrifying monster chi spread out from its body, as if all the monsters had to bow down to it. Human Xiaoping? I heard he's very famous. He's only 18 years old and is known as the youngest champion in history. He even killed Scorpion 13 and angered the Black Scorpion King. He has the potential to become an undefeatable king. A huge turtle was lazily lying on the ground. Its body was also huge, with a diameter of 10 meters. There seemed to be many patterns of stars carved on its shell. Even though it was daytime, there seemed to be blue light falling from the sky, resonating with its body. Each breath it took in a large amount of spiritual chi. This was the famous starlight turtle. It was said that this was the strongest turtle race under the sky. Once it lived for 10,000 years, it could travel in the sky alone. Its defense was also terrifying. Even if it was hit by a meteorite, it wouldn't be damaged at all. It sounds delicious. I wonder how his flesh and blood tastes like. After eating him, maybe my cultivation will increase greatly. There was a huge stone table in front of them. A tiger was sitting on the chair. However, the food on the table wasn't human food. Instead, it was pieces of metal. Each piece weighed thousands of kilograms. However, this ferocious tiger seemed to be eating snacks. It threw the metal into its mouth and started munching on it. Its expression seemed to be incomparably delicious. This was a metal tiger, and its main food was metal. The more metal it ate, the rarer the metal it ate, the more powerful it would become. Kiki, what a waste to eat him. I might as well capture him and make him my slave. With such a human with limitless potential as my battle slave, he will definitely be of great help in the future. In the distance, on top of a tree that was hundreds of meters tall, a black crow cackled. Its body was filled with a black and ominous aura. It seemed to be causing the surrounding trees to wither, and their life force to be stripped away. This was a crow of misfortune, and it had the ability to control the aura of death. Any living creature that encountered this crow of misfortune would basically die, and its ancestors had left behind countless terrifying legends. Become a battle servant? I can't believe you actually thought of this. Aren't you afraid that the human kings will flip out? The one who spoke was a thunder ape. It held a metal rod in its hand, and the muscles all over its body swelled up, seeming to contain terrifying power. From time to time, strands of thunder energy would linger around its body, making crackling sounds. With its body as the center, no monster dared to approach within 10 meters of it, as if they were afraid of being electrocuted to death. The surrounding monsters were all very afraid of this thunder ape. If they want to flip out, then flip out. Could it be that they can fight their way into the myriad monster mountain? Moreover, no matter what happens in the celestial demon battlefield, the kings can't interfere. This is the rule, unless they want to start a war between the human race and the monster race. The crow of misfortune laughed. It didn't care at all because its power relied on war and death to grow rapidly. It could be said that it was the biggest supporter of war. If it could start a war because of this, then it couldn't be any better. It was exactly what it wanted. Interesting. I didn't expect that you, the crow of misfortune, would also want to capture him and make him your slave. But unfortunately, I also fancy him. He is my prey, three-eyed giant. A 4 to 5 meter tall humanoid creature stood up. Its whole body emitted a noble aura, as if it was a god. There was a third eye on its forehead, and a pair of huge wings appeared on its back. It stood where it was, as if it was a towering mountain that no one could surpass. Looking at everyone's eyes, it was high and mighty, as if it didn't care about any monster at all. Three-eyed, you want to fight with me, the crow of misfortune? Do you want to die? The crow of misfortune squinted its eyes, and its body emitted an aura of death. The tree it stayed on quickly withered, turning into a dead tree. Its life energy was completely sucked away, and even the ground turned into black soil, emitting an aura of decay. Do you want to die? The three-eyed giant sneered. You, the crow of misfortune, think that you are qualified? Others might be afraid of you, but I, the three-eyed giant, am not. If you have the guts, come and fight. It opposed each other tit for tat. Interesting, you dare to provoke me, the crow of misfortune. It seems that you want to die now. The crow of misfortune laughed cruelly. It seemed that it was also angry. A black aura surged and a black cloud seemed to float in the sky, covering the sun. The other monsters stood at the side quietly, as if they were watching a good show. They didn't plan to stop it. Even though they were all monsters, there were many conflicts between different races. The conflicts were even more intense than that of humans, and killing each other often happened. Enough, this is the 1,000-monster mountain. If you want to fight, go outside. Don't behave atrociously here. Instantly, a loud sound rang out, like thunder from the 9 heavens, causing pain in the eardrums of all the monsters present. Even the ground had dozens of cracks. Immediately, a huge figure stood up. It was bigger than all the monsters present, more than 100 meters tall. It was like a mountain and also like a city wall. Its skin was light gold, and it seemed to contain the power of mysterious inscriptions. Its defense was strong, and even if a missile hit it, it wouldn't crack at all. Its trunk was like a dragon, devouring everything. It was a giant elephant, and it was the king of the elephant race, the heaven-devouring elephant. It was said that this heaven-devouring elephant was only in its infancy. When it matured, it would be thousands of meters tall. When it walked, it would be like a huge mountain shaking the earth. This heaven-devouring elephant had the power to devour the world. If it became a monster king, it would be almost invincible. Even if dozens of monster kings attacked it together, they wouldn't be able to break the defense of the heaven-devouring elephant. In fact, the heaven-devouring elephant was extremely strong. With a flick of its trunk, it could destroy everything. Humph, consider yourself lucky this time. The crow of misfortune snorted coldly. When it saw the heaven-devouring elephant step forward, it retracted its aura. Enter the heaven demon battlefield, and I'll take your life, the three-eyed giant said coldly. Not to be outdone, it turned and left. What a bunch of noisy fellows. The starlight turtle was still lying lazily on the ground, enjoying the energy of the sun. Chapter 649. 1 month later. Xiaoping was cultivating in the quiet room of his villa. Bang! Suddenly, his body trembled as if a bottleneck had been broken. The true essence in his body increased greatly and surged through his meridians like a river. His aura suddenly increased. Ooh! Xiaoping opened his eyes and let out a long breath. He breathed in and out the spiritual energy in his body and felt his strength increase. After a month of cultivation, he had devoured the water moon grass and the energy of many demon cores. He had broken through 5 or 6 meridians and his true essence was much stronger than a month ago. He continued to advance toward the 9th level of martial master and became stronger. At the same time, Xiaoping had completely cultivated the peerless king-level epic of heaven. With the help of the soul-sucking bell, he had mastered this martial art and could use it at any time. It could be said that he was stronger than he was during the genius battle, and could easily defeat any martial master. Even if he faced someone who had just entered the Grandmaster realm, he was confident he could fight them. It's a pity that the rate of consumption of water moon grass and demonic cores is too fast. I guess breaking through to the 9th heaven of martial master is the limit. Xiaoping now deeply felt that cultivation was definitely an extremely costly thing. Normally, these things would be enough for an ordinary person to live a carefree life. However, they could only support one's cultivation until the 9th level of martial master. This was too extravagant. No wonder people said that one had to spend an entire city's worth of money to break through to the king realm, and they might not even succeed. Ding dong! Suddenly, Xiaoping's communicator rang. He immediately received a message that the Sky Demon battlefield was about to begin. All the elite students who were qualified to participate should gather at the university square. Is it finally going to begin? Seeing this news, Xiaoping clenched his fists and his heart surged. He had been waiting for a month and had finally waited for the Sky Demon battlefield to begin. Now his spirit, energy and essence had reached an unprecedented level. Whoosh! Soon Xiaoping arrived at the square of Yanhuang University. There was a super battleship floating in the air. Many elite students of Yanhuang University had also arrived. Among them were geniuses like Bai Qingqing and Lu Boming. They had entered the top 10,000 and were qualified to enter the Sky Demon battlefield. Boom! When everyone arrived, the super battleship immediately released a burst of energy that surrounded the elite students. In the next second, Xiaoping and the others were teleported to their seats on the warship. At this time, the elite students from the other schools had also arrived and were waiting on the warships. Once all the elite students arrived, they would set off for the Skyfiend battlefield. The people from Yanhuang University are here. No way, did that jinx Xiaoping also come? Without a doubt, this kid is the champion. How could he not come? How unlucky. I didn't expect to meet this kid again. How unlucky. Damn it, this reminds me of the shadow of the genius battle. It took me a month to get rid of it, but I didn't expect to meet this damn bastard again. I guess I won't be able to sleep tonight. I'll have nightmares. On the warship, many elite students were gnashing their teeth. They were all alarmed because Xiaoping was a student of Yanhuang University. He would definitely board the warship at this time. Sure enough, when the people from Yanhuang University appeared on the battleship, many people saw Xiaoping's familiar figure. Some people's faces immediately darkened, as if remembering many bad things. They're all acquaintances. Xiaoping glanced around and found that he knew many elite students. Lu Chao, Xiaonshu, Lian Zhengshan, Tyrant Jie, Feng Qiudao and so on. They were all influential figures in the genius battle. In addition, there were also many geniuses who were in the limelight in the genius battle. Little Lu, long time no see. You look good. Are your injuries all healed? Xiaoping went up to Lu Chao and greeted him very enthusiastically. With a bang, he gently slapped Lu Chao's shoulder, causing him to grimace in pain. Good my ass. Lu Chao bared his teeth. He wanted to punch Xiaoping in the face when he saw this bastard who acted friendly with him. He was beaten so badly because of this brat. How dare he ask here if his injuries were healed? Was this not mocking him? What else could it be? He even called him Little Lu. Was this bastard familiar with him? Furthermore, even though he had the invincible Vajra body, being struck by that palm would still hurt. I'm fine. But no matter what, Xiaoping was still an influential figure, a peerless genius. It would be impolite not to reply, so he could only forcefully squeeze out such a reply. Xiaoping didn't mind because he saw Jia Jijie beside him. He said, Little Jia, it seems your vitality isn't bad either. I still remember the match from last time. That 9-sword wave slash was really powerful. Can you teach me? He blinked. Teach my ass. Jia Jijie wanted to spit in his face. His 9-sword wave slash was a secret of a king tier. He wouldn't reveal it no matter how much money he had. This kid was really thick-skinned. He wanted him to teach him? Dream on. This is a secret. I can't teach you. Jia Jijie gritted his teeth. Xiaoping shouted, why can't I teach you? Just say it. How much money do you want? I can pay any amount. He patted his chest looking like he was rich. Country bumpkin. Jia Jijie was half dead with anger. Who did this bastard think he was? Did he think he could buy people with money? He was really looking down on him. It was extremely hateful. He didn't want to talk to Xiaoping at all. He turned around and left, changing seats. Why are you leaving? You really don't listen. Huh? Isn't that Lu Mu? We're old rivals. Why is your face still green? Are you wearing a green hat on your face? Xiaoping muttered. He also saw Lu Mu beside him. He had the demonic tree bloodline and cultivated the withered tree divine technique. He was also a powerful expert. What a dog's mouth. Nothing good can come out of it. Lu Mu wanted to spit on this kid's face. During the previous competition, he was teased by this kid. In the end, everyone in the Cloud Realm knew that his face was green. Even some of his friends started to laugh at him. These nightmares were all caused by this bastard. No one knew how miserable he had been this month. He clenched his fists. If they weren't on the warship, he would have punched Xiaoping's face to vent his anger. Hey, isn't this Guda? Xiaoping also noticed Guda, who had the black bat bloodline. I'm not Guda felt Xiaoping's loving gaze. His face also turned green like Lu Mu's. He instantly stood up, turned around and left. Chapter 650. All the elite students present bared their teeth and looked at Xiaoping as if he was a plague. Why didn't anyone seal this bastard's mouth? This was too infuriating. Even Feng Qiudao and the others felt that this kid deserved a beating. Ding dong, suddenly, a voice rang out from the warship, clearly transmitted to the elite students present. Hello everyone. This old man is Lu Shuan. I will now talk to everyone about the Sky Demon battlefield. Please take your seats. Upon hearing this, all the elite students present immediately took their seats, including Xiaoping. After all, Lu Shuan was an invincible sovereign. Not only was he Yanhuang University's vice-chancellor, but he was also a major character that appeared in textbooks. No one dared to disregard the words of such a character. Very good. Lu Shuan knew that the elite students present were seated through the warship surveillance video. I believe everyone knows that you can stay in the Sky Demon battlefield for 3 months this time. Once the 3 months are up, you must come out. Otherwise, you will be trapped in this small world and die a violent death. Xiaoping and the others nodded. They also knew this. The Sky Demon battlefield opened for a limited time each time. Once the time was up, the entrance would close. It would only open again after a few years. This was similar to the Cloud Mist Mountain range. You also know that there are countless treasures in the Sky Demon battlefield. Lu Shuan continued. We, the human higher-ups, sent you in because we have a mission for you to do. Moreover, this is an obligation that you must complete. Otherwise, you will be severely punished. His tone was very strict. Xia Ping and the others became serious. They also knew that the human higher-ups had paid a huge price to send them to the Sky Demon battlefield. They did not just want to train the human geniuses. At the same time, the Sky Demon battlefield contained a large number of treasures. These treasures were of great benefit even to sovereigns. However, because of the suppression of strength in the Sky Demon battlefield, sovereigns could not enter. Therefore, they could only enter without the help of martial masters to help them search for various treasures. This was a very fair trade. If you can come out of the Sky Demon battlefield alive, you must hand over 10 kilograms of spirit liquid or treasures of the same level. Lu Shuan spoke of the elite student's mission and said, if anyone fails to complete this mission, then even if you come out of the Sky Demon battlefield, you'll have to continue to repay the debt until you've paid it off. Of course, as long as you complete this mission, any treasures you obtain from the Heavenly Demon battlefield will belong to you. We will absolutely not ask about it, and will even protect your personal property. 10 kilograms of liquid. Upon hearing those words, many elite students sucked in a mouthful of cold air. The so-called spiritual liquid was a treasure of the heavens and earth. It was a rare treasure of the heavens and earth that would only be formed under conditions where the spiritual chi of the heavens and earth was extremely dense. If one could absorb 1 kilogram of spiritual liquid, it would be equivalent to 10 years of cultivation for an ordinary grandmaster. It was more precious than many elixirs. Furthermore, these spirit liquids didn't have any side effects, so even king tiers were extremely eager to obtain them. They were a type of rare natural treasure that could assist in one's cultivation, and they couldn't be bought on the market. Only a small world like the Sky Demon battlefield, which had extremely dense heaven and earth spiritual chi, could give birth to a rare treasure like spirit liquid. It was extremely rare in other places. If we don't complete this mission in the Sky Demon battlefield and end up owing a debt, it will be over. An elite student couldn't help but clench his fists. He knew the seriousness of this matter. Only in a treasure land like the Sky Demon battlefield could one have the opportunity to easily obtain 10 kilograms of spiritual liquid. If they left the Sky Demon battlefield, it would be very difficult for them to find such a place. Even if they could find it, it would be a terrifying and dangerous place. It wasn't a place that martial masters or grandmasters could enter. There was only this one chance. We absolutely can't owe a debt. Many elite students couldn't help but have this thought. If they owed a debt of 10 kilograms of spiritual liquid, even a grandmaster would probably vomit blood. This was an extremely huge debt, equivalent to an ordinary person carrying a mortgage that would take decades to pay off. Of course, if any of you don't want to complete this mission, you can also choose to withdraw from the Sky Demon battlefield now. This is a chance for you to choose. Lu Shuan said lightly. However, none of the elite students present withdrew. Even if they had to complete the mission of 10 kilograms of spiritual liquid, it wouldn't stop them from entering the Sky Demon battlefield. What a joke! There were countless treasures and spiritual herbs in the Sky Demon battlefield. This was a rare treasure land. If they missed this opportunity, they wouldn't be able to find it again. If they were lucky and found a 1,000-year-old spiritual herb or a 10,000-year-old spiritual herb, who knew how many times they could earn? Legend had it that there was a secret to becoming a king. Any elite student with a bit of ambition wouldn't let go of this opportunity. Furthermore, those who could become elite students and stand out in the genius battle were all proud and arrogant people. How could they be scared to leave the Sky Demon battlefield because of this little difficulty? Alright, since no one wants to withdraw, then so be it. I wish you all good luck in the Sky Demon battlefield. After saying this, Lu Shuan's voice disappeared. On the warship, many elite students started talking and looking at each other. Everyone, let's join forces. Yes, the Sky Demon battlefield is extremely dangerous. There is also a group of geniuses of the demon race eyeing us covetously. If we don't join forces, we'll die. One person's strength is limited, but the strength of a group is infinite. I'm from Ares College. I specialize in saber techniques. I hope to find a few experts to team up with. I'm from Tianjin University. I specialize in poison techniques and can survive in the wilderness. I'm from Yanhuang University. I specialize in Qinggong, tracking, and scouting. No one can compare to me. Many elite students started talking and looked at each other. Some introduced themselves hoping to team up with experts. After all, only by teaming up with experts would they be able to seize the greatest opportunities and obtain more treasures. No one would team up with the weak because they would only be a burden. After entering such a dangerous place like the Sky Demon battlefield, where would they find the time to take care of the weak? Wasn't that just asking for trouble? Immediately, countless elite students started forming teams. In particular, those who had entered the top 100 of the genius battle became the focus of everyone. They became highly sought after, and were invited by countless people. Feng Qiudao was obviously a helper that many elite students fancied. It was unknown how many elite students wanted to team up with him. This was equivalent to hugging onto a thick thigh. However, as the champion of the genius battle, Xia Ping was all alone. With him as the center, there seemed to be a vacuum. No elite students wanted to go up and invite him. Even the students from Yanhuang University didn't go up. Chapter 651. In just a few minutes, all the elite students had basically formed their teams, forming small groups. Even Feng Qiudao had found Bai Qingqing, Lu Chao, and the other top 10 experts to form a team. However, Xia Ping was still alone. I didn't expect that brat Xia Ping to not be invited. He is still the champion, but he is so miserable and alone. Although he is number 1 now, it will be different once he enters the Sky Demon battlefield. Indeed, some experts at the peak of the 9th rank of Martial Master can reach the Grandmaster realm the moment they enter the Sky Demon battlefield. Their strength will increase several times, so it is incomparable to now. That's right. Although that brat is at the 8th rank of Martial Master, he is still far from the Grandmaster realm. No matter how talented he is, he won't be able to display much of his strength in the Sky Demon battlefield for 3 months. Although that is the case, he is still very strong. If he reaches the 9th rank of Martial Master, it will be even more amazing. The reason why such a thing happened is because this guy's personality is too terrible. He's detestable. Isn't that so? Who would want to be with this bastard? Aren't they afraid of being stabbed in the back by this brat? Even if you beat me to death, I don't want to team up with this guy. Serves him right. Who told him to be so arrogant? Many elite students sneered and looked at Xia Ping with schadenfreude. They had long planned to isolate this brat. Even though they couldn't kill each other because they were all human geniuses, it was fine to punish him and disgust him a little. There were some elite students who didn't hate Xia Ping, but they didn't like him either. It was impossible for them to lend a helping hand, so they could only watch from the sidelines. Xia Ping had an indifferent expression. He didn't care. Although forming a group and working together was indeed a good choice, it was best for him to act alone because he had many secrets that he could not reveal. If he got too close to this group of people, there would be a risk of his secrets being leaked. This kind of situation was exactly what he wanted. If someone wanted to team up with him, he would refuse. Most importantly, he had the ability to act alone. Even if he was alone in the Sky Demon battlefield, he would be able to obtain great benefits without the help of others. Boom! All of a sudden, the super battleship shuddered. No one knew what it did, but a huge wormhole opened up in the distance. It seemed to be a stable spatial tunnel. Immediately, a mechanical voice sounded. Space jump commencing. Everyone, please get ready and fasten your seatbelts. Crash! Suddenly, a mass of energy surged out from the battleship, instantly enveloping the elite students present. It seemed to form an energy shield, protecting everyone's life. Space jump. Xia Ping's body trembled. He didn't expect to see the super battleship space jump ability at this time. He had been on this battleship before, but he only flew at full speed and didn't use space jump. However, this was understandable. A single spatial jump required a large amount of energy. If there was no need, one would naturally choose to fly. Now, in order to head to the Heavenly Demon battlefield and save time, the super warship opened up a wormhole and flew in. Whoosh! Instantly, the super battleship entered the wormhole. It was as if it had entered a strange world of photon plane. It was pitch black all around, and one couldn't even see their fingers in front of them. A tyrannical power of space pressed over. It seemed to be hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of times the gravity. If it wasn't for the protection of the energy shield, they would immediately be pressed into meat paste. But even so, all the elite students, including Xiaoping, felt their consciousness blur. It seemed that even their souls were under a powerful pressure, and they couldn't maintain their consciousness. Boom! After an unknown amount of time, the entire super battleship flew out from the other side of the wormhole and appeared in a vast and boundless super mountain range. There were many mountains. The surroundings were filled with a savage aura. In the depths of the forest, there seemed to be many terrifying wild beasts. However, at this time, they were all prostrating as if they were afraid of this super battleship's destructive aura. What? We've arrived. Some elite students immediately noticed the light outside the battleship's windows. They also discovered that the scenery had changed. They were no longer in Yanhuang University but in another region. Yes, we've arrived near the Heavenly Demon battlefield, an elite student said in a deep voice. Someone immediately exclaimed, "Unbelievable. I just checked the time. Only 1 second has passed." The Heavenly Demon battlefield and Yanhuang University are at least 3 million kilometers apart. Oh my god, we've arrived in 1 second. This is a space jump. Actually, the wormhole theory existed 1,000 years ago, but who knows how difficult it is to achieve a space jump? Indeed, if it weren't for the relic's technology, who knows how much time humans would have to spend? Just the energy, space calculations, spaceship engines, materials, and so on have stumped countless scientists. What an eye-opener. I finally know how powerful a space jump is. I wonder if I can buy such a super battleship to play around with? If I can buy one, it'll be awesome. This is simply a dream. A battleship that can space jump costs at least 5 trillion. Even if you sell your entire family, you might not be able to gather that much money. Tisk tsk, even for a king tier, this is a rather extravagant toy. Many elite students were very surprised. Some wanted to buy one, but they were scared half to death when they heard the price. This was not a toy they could afford at all. Even if they advanced to the king tier, there might not be many people who could afford it. Amazing! Xiaoping also clenched his fists. His desire for a super battleship grew. Although 5 trillion federal dollars was a lot, he now had more than 100 billion. He believed that he would soon be able to gather the money. When that time came, wouldn't he be able to do whatever he wanted in the cloud realm? We've arrived at the Heavenly Demon battlefield. Lu Xuan's voice sounded again. In a while, you will be directly transported to the Heavenly Demon battlefield. I believe you have also noticed that each of you has a Demon King talisman. This talisman contains a unique energy that can protect you from being eroded by the evil aura in the Heavenly Demon battlefield. At the same time, it also contains a spatial mark. After 3 months, you can tear this Demon King talisman and instantly return to this world. But don't lose it, or you will forever stay in the Heavenly Demon battlefield. Xiaoping and the others immediately discovered that they had a golden talisman on them. It seemed to emit a mysterious energy that was unfathomable. At the same time, this talisman also formed a connection with their minds. It seemed that they could activate this talisman with a thought. Boom! In the distant sky, a huge black portal appeared out of nowhere. There was a spatial vortex inside. It was pitch black and no one knew where it led to. The elite students present felt their bodies tremble, as they were surrounded by a mass of energy. They were instantly transported away and thrown into this black portal. Chapter 652. Whoosh! 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 In the next second, Xiaoping and the others appeared on a plain. There were weeds everywhere, stretching for hundreds of miles, stretching as far as the eye could see. This is the Sky Demon battlefield? Some elite students stood up in shock and looked around. They discovered that the sky was blood-red and filled with killing intent. It seemed to be filled with death, slaughter, and other negative auras. If they stayed here for too long, their souls would probably be contaminated and they would become mindless demons. Fortunately, they had the Demon King talisman with them, which had 3 months' worth of energy. It could ensure that they wouldn't be corroded by the killing intent for 3 months and could survive safely. But after 3 months, if they didn't leave, they would probably die in the Sky Demon battlefield. As expected of a battlefield, this place has experienced an earth-shattering battle. An elite student sighed. This was because he discovered that there were ruins everywhere on the grassland. There were huge cracks that stretched for dozens of kilometers. Some had even become unfathomably deep abysses. If a stone fell, the sound would only be heard 10 minutes later. There were also huge craters on the ground. It was a shocking scene. There was a huge palm print. The crater contained endless killing intent. It was incomparably huge, with a diameter of 2 to 3 kilometers. There was also a footprint. It seemed that a huge creature had stomped on the void, immediately creating a crater with a diameter of 4 to 5 kilometers. It was impossible to imagine how huge the creature was. There was also a skeleton lying in a crater. It was thousands of meters tall and every bone was like a tree. There was runic power circulating on it. Even after countless years, these bones didn't seem to have been weathered. It was as if they hadn't changed since ancient times. If one dared to approach, they would immediately be invaded by the killing intent contained in the skeleton and have their souls destroyed. Many elite students were incomparably shocked. They couldn't imagine how terrifying the ancient demon race was. If humans from that era came, they would probably be killed. The heaven and earth spiritual qi is also very rich. Xiaoping's eyes flickered. He could also feel that this was indeed a paradise. The spiritual qi was more than 100 times richer than the outside world. In such an environment, many spiritual herbs would probably be born. Since we've arrived at the Sky Demon battlefield, let's bid farewell here. Right. Life and death are up to fate. What treasures we can find will depend on our own luck. Everyone take care. If we survive, we'll drink again. After seeing the surroundings, many elite students also came back to their senses. They all cupped their fists and went their separate ways to search for treasures in various parts of the heavenly demon battlefield. All of them had enormous clans standing behind them, and they possessed shocking forces and were well informed. So, they'd long since found out from their various channels where they could obtain treasures in the Sky Demon battlefield. Therefore, they would not waste time in this place and immediately set off for the destination that they had long thought of. Feng Qiudao and the others were very decisive. They seemed to have already decided on their destination. One by one, they left quickly and disappeared from everyone's sight. Originally, Xiaoping also wanted to immediately set off to a mysterious valley to find the white spirit ginseng fruit that Qiushu had mentioned. However, when he spread out his mental power, he suddenly sensed a sound coming from afar. Follow me. Earlier, I spent a large sum of money to buy information from a course student. I know that there is a spirit spring in a nameless valley several hundred li away from this grassland. The person who spoke was called Tyrant Jia. At this moment, he was very proud of himself. That spirit spring is extremely well hidden and contains a large amount of spirit liquid. If we reach that place, finding 10 kilograms of spirit liquid will be a piece of cake. Of course, that valley is guarded by powerful wild beasts. We'll need everyone's help. However, once we succeed, we won't have to worry about not being able to complete the mission. We'll be able to search for treasures in the Sky Demon battlefield. He used a secret technique to send a voice transmission. The surrounding people were all elite students, including Lian Zhongshan and other experts who had entered the top 100. After hearing this news, they were all very tempted. There's a spirit spring? We're going to be rich. Xiaoping's eyes immediately lit up. He didn't expect to eavesdrop on such a secret. This kid probably thought that by sending a voice transmission, others wouldn't be able to eavesdrop on his secret. In reality, this was indeed the case. Using this secret technique, even if the walls had ears, they wouldn't be able to hear it. The problem was that there was a freak like Xiaoping in this world. His mental power was many times stronger than experts of the same level. At the same time, he cultivated the 8 heavenly dragons music and the epic of heaven. This also made him extremely sensitive to all kinds of sounds. Even the sound of a mosquito wouldn't be able to escape his ears as long as it didn't exceed 3 kilometers. This was probably similar to the legendary clairaudient. Brother 2, I didn't expect you to share such important news. You're really broad-minded. That's right. Thank you, Brother 2, for your guidance. If we get any benefits, we naturally won't forget Brother 2 in the future. In the future, we'll follow Brother 2 and live a good life. We'll follow Brother 2's lead. Lian Zhongshan and the others were all sucking up to him. This was to be expected. Since he had taken out such important news to share, they might get huge benefits and become rich overnight. What was a few words of flattery? If someone wanted to give you a few $100 million as pocket money, you'd probably call them daddy. You're too polite, too polite. We still need everyone's help to survive in the Sky Demon battlefield and soar to the sky. Tu Haojia was in a very good mood. Of course, he had taken out this news not only to win over these elite students, but also because the savage beasts there were powerful and he needed help to deal with them. Therefore, he had invited these people to go with him. However, at the same time, he could gain the gratitude and friendship of these elite students. It would definitely be of great benefit to his future development. This was a strategy that killed many birds with one stone. Good people. This is a group of people who will give away money. I have to follow them and fish in troubled waters. Xiaoping touched his chin. Anyway, the white spirit ginseng fruit was in that valley. He estimated that no one would be able to find it in a short time, so it didn't matter if it was left there for the time being. Therefore, he might as well follow this group of elite students and obtain a large amount of spirit liquid. It wouldn't be too late to search for the white spirit ginseng later. After all, there were still 3 months. There was plenty of time. Moreover, he would never refuse a free ride like this. Let's not talk too much. Let's go now. Tu Haojia was in high spirits. He waved his hand and immediately led his team away, heading for the northern part of the grassland. Whoosh! Chapter 653. A day later, in the depths of a forest, Tyrant Hero and the others were resting on a rock. There was a small stream nearby and the breeze was blowing. It was very cool, but this couldn't make them feel better. Because after they set off, they quickly discovered that there was a stalker following them. No matter where they went, that bastard would follow them and never give up. Originally, when they discovered this guy, they wanted to beat him up. Only then did they discover that the bastard was Xiaoping, the champion of the genius battle. They couldn't beat him. All of them were extremely depressed. Damn it! Why is that bastard Xiaoping still following us? He has nothing to do all day, and doesn't know how to go to other places to adventure and obtain treasures. What's the use of following us poor people? An elite student gritted his teeth and was furious. A white-clothed elite student was also depressed. If this continues, when can we reach that valley and obtain the spiritual liquid? We can't keep going in circles. Time is precious. The valley was originally only a few 100 kilometers away from the plains. They could reach it very quickly. The problem was that after they discovered Xiaoping, they started to run in circles like headless flies, hoping to get rid of this stalker. After all, that was the spirit spring with large amounts of spiritual liquid. How could they be willing to let Xiaoping know about such a place? Everyone knew that the feeling of eating alone was the best. But no matter what they did, they couldn't get rid of him. It was as if this guy had eyes on his back and saw through all their tricks. After such a long time, that guy was completely fine. They were the ones who were exhausted. Don't tell me that kid knows our secret and knows that we are heading to the spirit spring? Some elite students suspected that if that wasn't the case, why didn't the others follow them and only followed them? No way. Tyrant Hero shook his head. My information has never been leaked and none of us have come into contact with him. How could it be leaked? This doesn't make sense. He didn't believe that his information would be leaked. To keep it a secret, who knew how much effort he had put into keeping it a secret? How could it be casually known by others? No matter what, we can't let this kid continue. We have to talk to him and make him scram. Lian Zhengshun gritted his teeth. He decided to have a showdown with that kid. The other elite students also agreed. If this continued, they wouldn't be able to take it. Whoosh! Immediately, Tyrant Jia and the other elite students took action, arriving in front of Xiaoping. Hey, what a coincidence! I didn't expect to meet you guys here. It's fate. Seeing Tyrant Jia and the others come over, Xiaoping greeted them warmly. Coincidence my ass. Tyrant Hero and the others wanted to spit on this bastard's face. He had clearly been following them for a day like a stalker, but now he was putting on an act, saying that it was a chance encounter. They had never seen such a thick-skinned person before. Xiaoping, we don't beat around the bush. Tyrant Hero said straightforwardly, I don't know why you want to follow us, but we really don't have any money, and we don't have any secrets. There's no benefit in following us. That's right. Go and follow Feng Qiudao and the others. That's right, those bastards are the local tycoons. They have a lot of information. Only by following that group of people will you have meat to eat. If you follow us, Northwest Wind, you will have food to eat. Don't make things difficult for poor people like us. The group of elite students spoke up. You're too polite. Actually, this is really a coincidence. Xiaoping felt that he was wronged. I'm not following you guys. I just happen to be walking the same path as you guys. Coincidentally, a bastard. Tyrant Hero and the others had the urge to beat Xiaoping up. The Sky Demon battlefield was so big. A day had passed, and he had been following them every minute and second. How could he coincidentally be walking the same path? He was clearly lying through his teeth. Only fools would believe such words to trick children. Xiaoping, just continue following us. Lian Zhengshan immediately shouted in anger, we don't have any secrets on us. There's no benefit in following us. It's just a waste of your time. Xiaoping smiled and said, it's fine. I have plenty of time. Bastard. Tyrant Hero and the others' faces turned green. They could tell that this bastard had used some unknown method to learn their secrets. That was why he had been following them all this time, hoping to get a free ride and fish in troubled waters to reap some benefits. The problem was that in order to obtain this information, they had paid an unknown price. They had been extorted by that course student. Now that brat wanted to hitch a ride so easily and gain benefits. He was simply dreaming. Alright, then you can follow us slowly. Lian Zhengshan and the others were determined. They would continue to waste time with Xiaoping. They didn't believe that this brat would keep following them. For the next 3 days they didn't go anywhere. They just circled around the forest, trying to get rid of Xiaoping and wear out his patience. The problem was that no matter what method they used, they couldn't get rid of Xiaoping's tracking. They couldn't even wear out his patience. Xiaoping also took advantage of this period of time to break through another meridian. His quintessential essence had greatly increased, and he was breaking through to the 9th layer of Martial Master. It wouldn't be long before he could break through again. Therefore, he wasn't anxious at all. He would slowly play with this group of people. We can't do it anymore. No matter what we do, that brat keeps following us. It seems that he plans to fight to the end with us. An elite student was in despair. That bastard was too annoying. He was even more annoying than a girlfriend. He followed them 24 hours a day and kept pestering them. Let's fight to the end. I don't believe that with that brat's ambition, he will continue to do such useless things. Whether it takes 10 days, 20 days, or a month, I will continue to waste time with him. Lian Zhengshan was going crazy. He was a very stubborn person. A month? An elite student's expression changed. He was in a difficult position. That's too long. Even if this brat can waste time, we can't. That's right. The opportunity to enter the Heaven Demon battlefield is so precious. It's only once in a lifetime. Is it worth it to waste such a precious opportunity just because of a fit of pique? If he wants to hitch a ride, let him. This fellow is so thick-skinned. It's not a big deal to give him some benefits. That's right. I'm convinced by this slut. For the sake of benefits, he doesn't want any face. We can't beat him. Let's cooperate with him. Anyway, he's strong. It's not a disgrace to cooperate with him. The group of elite students was completely convinced. They didn't want to waste any more time. After all, it was just spirit liquid. It was nothing compared to the many spirit herbs, spirit fruits, treasured artifacts, and inheritances in the Heaven Demon battlefield. Wasting a month for that bit of spirit liquid was simply stupid. Chapter 654. All of you. Lian Zhengshuan's expression became extremely unsightly when he heard this. He hadn't expected his companions to betray him and decide to negotiate with Xiaoping. Tu Hao looked at Lian Zhengshan and said, Lian Zhengshan, think about it carefully. Is fighting with Xiaoping more important or advancing to the King Realm more important? King Realm. Lian Zhengshuan's entire body shook, and the unwillingness in his heart had finally calmed down. Indeed, if he continued to fight, it wouldn't be beneficial to him, and it would only cause both sides to suffer. If he continued to waste time and missed the various fortuitous encounters in the Heavenly Demon battlefield, then his entire life would be over. He wouldn't be able to advance to the king realm, and he would forever be an ant. Alright, all of you are right. We can't fight, we have to be harmonious and focus on the bigger picture. Lian Zhongshan took a deep breath. He compromised and decided to negotiate with Xia Ping. Swoosh! In next to no time, Tu Hao and the others arrived before Xia Ping once more. Xia Ping, you win. We compromise. Let's negotiate. Tu Hao and the others bared their teeth and stared at Xia Ping. Xia Ping revealed an innocent expression. Negotiate? That's too exaggerated. Others might think that I'm bullying all of you. I'm just passing by. Passing my ass. Even if Lian Zhongshan wanted to negotiate with Xia Ping, he couldn't help but want to beat this fellow up. How shameless. He was still lying through his teeth at a time like this. Xia Ping, I won't waste my breath with you. Let's talk directly. Lian Zhongshan gritted his teeth. We do know some secrets of the heavenly demon battlefield. We know the location of a spirit spring, and we're planning to explore it. He revealed their group's secret. Oh, there's such a thing? What a shocking secret, Xia Ping said lazily. This bastard. How could they not know that their secret had been exposed when they saw Xia Ping's unsurprised expression? No wonder this bastard kept following them and refused to leave. Lian Zhongshan was secretly glad that he compromised in time. Otherwise, this kid would really follow him until the end of time. At that time, he didn't know how much time he would waste. If you join us, we can share a portion of the benefits with you. The local tyrant felt very wronged as he said these words. Originally, with so many people dividing the spirit liquid, there shouldn't be much left. Now there was another bitch with a big appetite, Xia Ping. He reckoned that this fellow was the kind of person who would pluck feathers from a goose. He didn't know how much benefit he had to share to satisfy this kid's appetite. How could I do that? But since you've kindly invited me, I'll reluctantly accept. Xia Ping said carelessly, showing an expression as if it was an honor for him to join them. Lian Zhongshan and the others were driven mad. They wanted to hammer this scoundrel to death. He had clearly taken advantage of them, yet he was still trying to show off. He was shameless to the extreme. However, since they had made such a decision, they immediately relaxed and no longer continued to go around in circles. They directly walked towards the location of the spirit spring. In less than 2 hours, they finally arrived at the valley. As soon as he arrived at the valley, Xia Ping squinted his eyes. He immediately sensed an enormous demonic aura in the valley, soaring into the sky, and his blood and qi were overflowing. It wasn't just Xia Ping. The other elite students also sensed it. So. The valley shook, and one demonic beast after another ran out. They seemed to have also sensed the unfamiliar aura outside. They were 4 to 5 meters tall, had horns on their heads, and were covered in black scales. They held steel tridents in their hands, and their eyes were red, filled with a crazy killing intent. Jia, humans are here. Lowly humans, all of them are our food. Kill them. These humans must be coveting the spirit spring here. Every human deserves to die, all of them deserve to die. They are only fit to be our food. One by one the demonic beasts roared. They seemed to have lost their minds, and their minds were filled with the desire to kill. When they sensed the aura of humans, they all rushed over in a frenzy. What's going on? Why are there so many demonic beasts? Some elite students were shocked because according to the information of the core students, there seemed to be only a dozen or so beasts in this valley. But now these demonic beasts occupied the valley, and there were hundreds of them. Furthermore, each of them was extremely terrifying, and they had the strength of a peak martial master. I don't know. Many years have passed, and there are bound to be changes. This kind of change is unpredictable. The local tyrant didn't expect such a thing to happen. There were hundreds of peak martial master demonic beasts, and they would be a terrifying force no matter where they were. Stop talking nonsense, kill these demonic beasts. If they don't die, then we will die. Lian Zhongshan roared. He knew that now was not the time to chat. These demonic beasts were all experts in killing, and they were simply natural killing monsters. These demonic beasts attacked them, and they wouldn't give them any time to breathe. A bunch of ants. At this moment Xia Ping made his move. After a month of cultivation, his martial arts strength had improved tremendously. His entire body exploded with a mountain-like aura. He circulated the pure yang immortal art in his body, and the cells of the golden crow of hell seemed to be trembling. Flames surged out from the 108,000 pores on his body, and a divine bird totem seemed to condense on his back. Dong! He punched out, and it was as if he had mobilized the power of fire in the heaven and earth, and a great power like a flood burst out. The flames condensed into a divine bird, flying in all directions. Bang, bang, bang. These flaming divine birds fiercely bombarded the demonic beasts, and the terrifying essence of the sun immediately descended, burning their internal organs. In an instant, the demonic aura on their bodies was ignited, as if fire had met gasoline. Ah, ah! Suddenly, these demonic beasts let out shrill screams, as if they were human beings who had spontaneously combusted. They were almost burnt to the point of not looking human, and the intense pain extended to the depths of their souls, making them almost collapse. Good opportunity, kill. Seeing this, the local tyrant and the others immediately knew that this was the best opportunity. These demonic beasts had been shamelessly and miserably beaten by Xia Ping, and had lost more than half of their combat strength. If they didn't kill them now, when would they? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One by one they attacked, some with swords, some with knives, some with spears, and some with bare hands, but each of them displayed the terrifying power of a peak martial master. It could only be said that they were indeed the elites of humanity. Each of them was like a humanoid Gundam, able to tear down buildings with their bare hands. In a few breaths in the valley, hundreds of demonic beasts were killed, and their corpses were cut into dozens of pieces. Chapter 655. This feels great. An elite student felt extremely delighted. He didn't think that killing demons would be so easy. One punch was enough to kill one, and their bodies exploded without any effort. Normally, these demons were invulnerable. Ordinary blades and swords wouldn't be able to injure them. Killing one would require a huge price. Facing over 100 demons, even if they could win, a few of them would die. But with Xia Ping in this place, things were completely different. With a single move, he could seriously injure these evil devils. Then, they could easily wipe them out and completely eradicate them. It was countless times easier. This was also very normal. Xia Ping cultivated the pure yang immortal art, which absorbed the essence of the sun. It was the strongest and fiercest flame power. It could be said to be the nemesis of these demons, and its killing power was multiplied. When those demons touched the flames, they were immediately half dead. Their scales melted, and without their tough outer armor, they were just lambs waiting to be slaughtered. This guy is too strong. Tyrant Jie and the others couldn't help but admire Xia Ping. The champion of the genius contest, the youngest champion in history. He defeated Feng Qiudao in the finals, and was said to have the potential to become an invincible king. A person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. Although they had heard of Xia Ping's fame and seen his battles, only now did they truly feel this kid's strength and valiance. With such a companion, they felt much more at ease. It was as if he could crush any difficulty. His personality is just a little bad. Lian Zhengshun bared his teeth. He couldn't help but admire Xia Ping's strength. If Xia Ping hadn't joined, who knew how many of them would have died? The problem was that this kid was too annoying, and no one liked him. But then again, if it wasn't for this kid being so annoying, he probably wouldn't have joined their team. Let's go in. Xia Ping didn't care what these people thought. He sensed that all the demons here had been killed, and the demonic qi had been swept clean. There was no longer any danger. He raised his foot and walked into the depths of the valley. Soon he found a pool of water in the depths of the valley. This pool had a 5-colored glow, and golden lotuses sprouted from the ground. The surroundings were filled with dense heaven and earth spiritual qi. With just a slight sniff, he felt as if all the cells in his body were trembling. He wanted nothing more than to devour all of this aura and strengthen his body. A spiritual spring. There really is a spiritual spring here. Lian Zhengshun couldn't help but shout as he stared at the deep pool. There was a fist-sized hole on the surface of the pool. Sparkling liquid continuously flowed out and dripped into the pool. This liquid contained pure energy. He felt that if he could swallow a portion of this liquid, He would be able to break through to the Grandmaster realm immediately. Spiritual liquid. This is undoubtedly spiritual liquid. Oh my God. How can there be so much of it? There's an entire pond. Just how much spiritual liquid is there? If I can get all of them, I'll be as rich as a country. Fortunately, we are in the heavenly demon battlefield. If we were in the outside world, it would be possible to trigger a war between the human clan and the demon clan. Juniors like us wouldn't even have a chance. We're rich. We're rich. We can take as much as we want. Tyrant Jie and the others rushed over excitedly. How do we store all this spiritual liquid? Xiaoping blinked his eyes. These elite students didn't seem to have anything like a bucket on them. It was too difficult to store all this spiritual liquid. After all, no one had a space ring like him. There were many buckets of water inside, so he could completely empty all the spiritual liquid and pluck it all away. Whoosh! Without waiting for Xiaoping to ask, Tyrant Jie and the others each took out a bag the size of a palm. This was the crystallization of human technology nanobag. This nanobag was extremely tough. Even if a ton of force was applied, it wouldn't be torn. It was also very elastic like a balloon. As long as you blew, it would expand. Splash! Tyrant Jie and the others each took out a nanobag and placed it on the surface of the pool. Soon, the nanobag expanded to the size of 2 or 3 watermelons. It contained a total of 40 to 50 kilograms. There were a total of 13 elite students. They took away a few hundred kilograms, but for this deep pool it was just a small portion. It was nothing. Brother Xia, aren't you planning to take away the spiritual liquid? Tyrant Jie looked at Xiaoping curiously. Everyone else was moving to store the spiritual liquid, but this kid was still standing there and acting cool. It seemed like he didn't want to move at all. Don't be anxious. I plan to cultivate here for a while and directly absorb the spiritual liquid. Xiaoping smiled. He casually found an excuse. After all, he didn't want others to find out that he had a spatial ring. He wanted to wait for these people to leave before moving all the spiritual liquid here. Previously, there were many elite students who came here. But because they couldn't carry too much, they could only take a portion of the spiritual liquid and leave. But he was different. With the existence of his spatial ring, he could completely loot this place and let those who came later eat dirt. Brother Xia, you still want to cultivate in this place? Lian Zhengshan was shocked. Don't go there. This isn't a safe place. After all, the location of this valley isn't very secret. Many seniors already know about it. Maybe even the demon race knows about it. If you cultivate here and are seen by those enemies, I'm afraid you won't have a good ending. He tactfully reminded Xiaoping of the danger here. The other elite students also nodded. Because of this, they planned to take the spiritual liquid away and go to other safe places to cultivate. They also wanted to break through to the Grandmaster realm. In this way, they could have a great advantage in the celestial demon battlefield and obtain more treasures. Demon race? Don't worry, they're already here. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and looked outside the valley. What? Hearing this, Lian Zhengshan and the others were shocked. They immediately followed Xiaoping's gaze and looked over. Whoosh! Whoosh! In the next second, dark clouds covered the valley, and a demonic wind blew, sweeping up a terrifying black wind. Soon, tyrannical demons appeared in the valley. Some of them were wolf demons, some were ox demons, some were snake demons, and so on. There were all kinds of strange creatures. There were 40 to 50 of them. Moreover, each demon was at the peak of the martial master realm. Their chi and blood were vigorous, and they were many times more terrifying than the previous demons. Damn, how did they come so fast? Chapter 656. It can't be. There are humans in the valley? One of the demons immediately noticed Xiaoping and the others and immediately became vigilant. Could it be that these humans know that there's a spiritual spring in this valley? That's why they rushed over? These humans have come to the Sky Demon battlefield so many times. It's not surprising that they discovered this secret. Damn it! The treasures in the Sky Demon battlefield belong to us demons. These lowly humans actually dare to snatch them. They're too audacious. They're courting death. Kill. Kill these humans immediately. Kill them until they're afraid of entering the Sky Demon battlefield. Lowly humans want to snatch our treasures? That's 10,000 years ago. Immediately, the demons were filled with killing intent as they stared at Xia Ping and the other elite students. Terrifying killing intent brewed. Even the air seemed to boil and the ground trembled. Tyrant Jia and the others immediately became nervous. They were at a disadvantage. The other party had dozens of demons while they only had a dozen people. They could not match up to them in terms of numbers. If they really fought to the death, more than half of them would probably die. Tell me, humans, how do you want to die? Do you want to be eaten alive by us? Or do you want to be fried and cooked? Choose one, said a wolf demon with silver fur arrogantly. This was a silver moon wolf. Even among wolves, they were considered a king race. Their bloodline power was tyrannical. Under the full moon, their strength would increase tenfold, making them invincible. Even if they were not under the full moon, their strength was no trifling matter. A pair of wolf claws tore through everything. Even titanium alloy could not withstand it. It was as fragile as paper. Demons don't go too far. If we fight to the death, you'll also suffer heavy losses. I think we should negotiate to avoid conflict. An elite student gave his opinion. Bastard! With a bang, the silver moon wolf suddenly slapped him. It contained terrifying power, instantly slapping the elite student to the ground. A red handprint appeared on his fair face, and 2 or 3 of his front teeth fell out. He could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood as he fell to the ground and screamed. Then it fiercely stomped on the elite student's head. Who do you think you are? You want to fight to the death with us demons and make us suffer heavy losses? You overestimate yourselves. Even if it's just me, it's enough to slaughter all of you dozens of times over. You actually dare to be so arrogant? You humans don't have weapons, you're just lowly bastards, do you understand? You are only fit to be food for us demons. He continuously stepped on the elite student's body, circulating the demonic energy in his body, instantly destroying the elite student's meridians, causing him to be unable to unleash any power. He could only be trampled on like a dog. If it was a battle between the two of them, this elite student wouldn't be so weak. However, this was in the middle of a negotiation, and the other party had the advantage in numbers. In addition, he didn't expect that the Silver Moon Wolf didn't intend to negotiate with them at all and attacked instantly. He was hit by the sneak attack and was instantly crippled, unable to resist. Bastard! The group of elite students widened their eyes. They couldn't bear to watch any longer. Seeing their companion being humiliated and trampled on like this, they couldn't bear it at all. They wanted to save him. What's wrong? You want to fight against us demons? Do you want to die dozens of times? Suddenly, the demons behind him stood up, their faces ferocious, and their demonic auras shot up into the sky. In an instant, the terrifying demonic aura crushed down like a mountain, suppressing the elite students to death. It was as if they couldn't even breathe. It was as if they dared to move recklessly, the all-pervasive killing intent would instantly take their lives. Wait, look! A fire snake demon that was over 100 feet long immediately exclaimed, "Isn't that human the champion of this year's genius contest, Xia Ping? He's actually here too." Its eyes narrowed as it saw Xia Ping in the crowd. What? Human Xia Ping? That human is actually here too. What a coincidence. This human is already on our demon clan's must-kill list. If we kill him, we'll be rewarded handsomely. I heard that the Crow of Misfortune has its eyes on him as well. It wants to capture him alive and train him as a slave. Our luck is too good. I didn't expect to find this human Xia Ping so quickly. Even the heavens are helping us. The demons were all very careful. They all stared at Xia Ping, their eyes flashing with a strange light. It was as if they saw Xia Ping as a fat sheep, ready to be slaughtered at any time. Although they were in the monster race, they were still very well informed. They were very clear about the human race geniuses, especially the human race geniuses who posed the greatest threat to the monster race. They would never forget them. Therefore, these demons recognized Xia Ping right away and knew that he was the champion of the genius contest. This is bad. Tyrant Jia and the others' expressions changed. If Xia Ping's identity was leaked, these demons would not let this go. This battle would be unavoidable. Even if they wanted to negotiate, the demons would not agree. Human Xia Ping. The Silver Moon Wolf stared at Xiaoping. I heard that you are the champion of this year's genius contest. Looks like you have great potential, and are very suitable to be a loyal servant of the demons. This identity is not a disgrace to the wolves. I order you to kneel and pledge your loyalty to me, the Silver Moon Wolf. Its expression was arrogant, as if it was saying something natural. It was like a king born to be above all. Servant. Tyrant Jia and the others' expressions were very ugly. They knew that many powerful humans had been captured by the demons. Some were eaten, some were tortured to death. But there were also some who were captured as servants, working like cattle and horses for the demons. Just like slaves in ancient times, they had no freedom. If their masters wanted them dead, they had to die. Their situation was very miserable. If Xiaoping was captured by these demons, he would not have a good ending. Noisy. With a boom, Xiaoping took out the hell spear and threw it at the Silver Moon Wolf. Dong! The hell spear turned into a black light, breaking through 10 times the speed of sound. It tore through the air and made a buzzing sound. In an instant, it pierced through the Silver Moon Wolf's heart, leaving a huge bloody hole in its huge body. A large amount of blood flowed down, dyeing the ground red. The Silver Moon Wolf suddenly felt a sharp pain all over its body. This pain seemed to take away all its life force in an instant. Terrifying True Yuan rampaged through its meridians, crazily destroying them. However, the demon race's strong vitality allowed it to not die yet. It still had one last breath. Chapter 657. So what if I want to kill you? Do I have to treat you to a meal? Useless. Xiaoping looked at the Silver Moon Wolf and slapped the air. The energy left in the Silver Moon Wolf by the hell spear exploded. With a boom, its huge body was blown into pieces. With a swoosh, he grabbed with his hand. With a thought, the hell spear returned to his right hand. Originally, he didn't want to bother with these monsters, but they liked to court death. Every time they met, they would shout and kill, wanting to kill all the humans. The conflict was irreconcilable. This Silver Moon Wolf was even more despicable. It wanted to capture him alive and make him a slave, making him wish he was dead. Since it was like this, he would return the favor. What was the point of talking to these monsters? He would just kill them on the spot and smash their heads. If he didn't show his power, they would think he was a sick cat. That's ridiculous. One stab to death. Seeing this, Tyrant Jia and the others couldn't help but gulp. This Silver Moon Wolf had a noble bloodline and an extraordinary demonic aura. It was probably a descendant of a demon king. At the very least, it was a powerful monster that could enter the top 100 of the genius competition. It couldn't be underestimated. But now it was stabbed to death by Xiaoping's spear. It didn't even have the strength to resist. It was a complete mess. This kid is even stronger than during the genius competition. Unfathomable. Lian Zhengshan also took a deep breath. He was already here, yet he could still improve so quickly. How could he let others live? If Xiaoping wanted to kill him, it would be a matter of one stab. Bastard human, how dare you kill a member of the demon race? Kill him immediately. Kill his entire clan. Go kill him. We won't stop until he's dead. Seeing the Silver Moon Wolf die in one stab, its entire body exploding into pieces of minced meat, all the monsters were so angry that their lungs were about to explode. With so many of their members here, they had the absolute advantage. Plus, they thought of themselves as nobles and looked down on humans. It was simply contempt. Who would have thought that under such circumstances, this kid would still dare to attack? Xiaoping's speed was too fast, so fast that they couldn't react at all. Only when the Silver Moon Wolf was stabbed to death did they know what had happened. One could imagine how furious they were when all these factors added up. They even wanted to kill Xiaoping. Whoosh! A fire snake demon that was over 100 feet long pounced over. It coiled on the ground like a small mountain. When it opened its huge mouth, it could even swallow an elephant. The idiom "a snake swallows an elephant" from Earth was not a joke here, but a fact. If it grew to the king realm and the demon king was born, the snake demon would be able to swallow all the humans in a small city in one gulp. It wouldn't even need to chew. Boom! A King Kong mantis demon also rushed forward. Its body was covered with golden hepta chi. and its whole body was covered with metal armor. Its pair of blades were extremely sharp, and even the ancient treasured sword that could cut iron like mud could not compare. It moved in an instant. It was simply like a master of the saber Dao. Saber chi swept across the sky and covered the earth, enough to tear everything apart. In an instant it covered Xiaoping's entire body. Whoosh! In the sky there was also a wind eagle demon. It rode the wind like a supersonic plane. Its body formed a terrifying airflow, and its speed was extremely fast. Its sharp beak could penetrate a mountain. At this moment, a terrifying demon attacked and instantly locked on to Xiaoping's chi. No matter where Xiaoping escaped to, it would be useless. He would definitely die. It's over. Tyrant Jie and the others suddenly turned green, and their bodies were trembling. Each of these demon race geniuses contained the bloodline of the king. Their strength was tyrannical, and even compared with the top 100 geniuses they were not inferior. But now dozens of such demons attacked at the same time, targeting Xiaoping and launching a fatal blow. It was estimated that in the face of such an attack, even an expert who had just entered the master realm would be seriously injured, or even directly killed. There was no way to resist at all. The gap between the two sides was too big. You are courting death. Xiaoping was unmoved. A cold light flashed in his eyes. In an instant he took out the bewitching soul bell and immediately poured his spiritual ether into it. Ding dang dang dang. In an instant, with Xiaoping's body as the center, there was immediately a ripple. The terrifying psychic wave was like a wave, sweeping in all directions. The area within a radius of a few hundred meters was surrounded by this powerful psychic power. What? Suddenly, the demons at the scene were affected by this psychic wave. It fiercely bombarded their souls, causing them to immediately fall into a trance. It was as if at this moment, they had all lost consciousness, and their minds were momentarily blank. Kill. Although it was only for a moment, for an expert 1 second was enough to kill the enemy dozens of times. Xiaoping clenched the hell spear in his hand and attacked the group of demons. Whoosh! 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 In an instant, densely packed spear shadows appeared in the air. Every spear shadow condensed into a solid substance, emitting the aura of hell. It was full of sharp power, and it was indestructible. Bang! The fire snake demon let out a shrill scream. Its body, which was more than 100 feet long, was blasted into more than a dozen pieces. A large amount of blood was like spring water, spurting out on the ground, dyeing the ground red. Even though the King Kong mantis had the body of a King Kong, it was still easily pierced by the power of the hell spear. Even its heart was smashed, and a bloody hole appeared in its chest. It fell to the ground, its eyes wide open, as if it couldn't believe that it had died just like that. The wind eagle demon flying in the sky was the most miserable. It was pierced by a spear shadow, and the aura of hell exploded. In an instant it was blown into pieces, and large pieces of flesh and blood flew out, sprinkling on the ground. It was estimated that even immortals would not be able to save this demon. Not only these demons, but other demons that were close to Xiaoping were also pierced by the power of the hell spear. Their entire bodies exploded, turning into pieces of minced meat. Only the demons that didn't have time to attack survived, but there were only a few of them and they were not a threat. What the hell happened? Tyrant Jie and the other elite students were in a state of confusion, because the power of the soul-sucking bell had also affected them, causing them to be in a trance for a moment. However, when they regained consciousness, they discovered that the ferocious demons in the entire valley had been slaughtered. They had turned into minced meat and blood flowed like a river. The remaining demons were also scared pale, trembling on the ground, as if they were completely dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that such a thing had happened. Chapter 658. Monster, this human is a monster. He killed so many of our companions in one move. How did he do it? This is the human race's pride. How can he be so terrifying? Didn't they say that humans only rely on technological weapons to be arrogant, and that their martial strength is weak? What's going on now? The remaining monsters looked at Xiaoping in fear. Now they truly saw what it meant to be the champion of the genius tournament, and what it meant to be invincible. A person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. To be able to fight his way out of the billions of humans, among the countless monstrous geniuses, and come out on top, suppressing the other heroes, and be considered by some big shots to have the potential to become an invincible king, how could such combat strength be ordinary? Previously, they were all arrogant and thought that with the talent of humans, no matter how powerful they were, they could not compare to the demon race, and that they could defeat this so-called human with a single move. But now reality gave them a harsh slap in the face, making them dizzy. Dozens of peak martial master monsters with the bloodline of a demon king were killed by this terrifying human. They couldn't even break the skin of their opponent. Such a shocking fact was simply unimaginable to them. Now they finally realized that the generous reward for killing human geniuses was not so easy to obtain. There was no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Tell me, how do you want to die? Do you want to be steamed, roasted, or skinned? Choose your own way to die. Xiaoping looked at the group of monsters calmly. What goes around comes around. Tyrant Jia and the others were in a good mood. Just now, the group of monsters had the upper hand and were extremely domineering, treating humans as fish on the chopping block. They were simply too arrogant. But now, it was finally their turn to taste the feeling of being fish on the chopping block. Human, don't go too far. A monster gritted its teeth and glared at Xiaoping. It felt endless grievance in its heart. Since when had the demon race fallen to such a state, to be threatened by a puny human and treated like slaves? The other monsters were also furious, wishing they could kill Xiaoping immediately. But after witnessing Xiaoping's terrifying combat strength, he killed dozens of monsters in one move. Even if they joined forces, they would not be able to withstand a single move from this terrifying human. So what if I bully you? Die. How could Xiaoping let them go? They all wanted to start a war, but it was not up to them to decide when it would end. He must annihilate all of these demons. Damn it! The group of demons felt a chill run down their spines. The killing intent in the void was omnipresent. It was as though it had transformed into a sword that was slicing at their bodies. It was as though their chi activity had been completely locked on. Even if they wanted to escape, they would be instantly killed, as if they were being targeted by the Grim Reaper. Stop, human! How dare you kill my demon brothers? Aren't you afraid of your clan being wiped out? Suddenly, a thunderous roar came from afar, shaking several li. In the distance, a huge black fog came from the sky, covering the sky and the sun. A demonic wind blew, and at the same time cawing sounds like the cawing of crows could be heard, causing people to shiver. It was as if an emissary from hell had arrived. The crows of misfortune. The crows of misfortune are here. Some demons immediately recognized the flying creature in the sky. It was the peerless genius of the demon race, the crows of misfortune. Although they did not know why the crows of misfortune would come to the valley, they all knew that with the crows of misfortune here, they would be saved. It would not be the turn of this human to act wildly. Great, with the crows of misfortune here, that human will definitely not dare to attack. How dare he attack? Isn't he afraid of the demon race's revenge and annihilating his entire clan? Immediately, all the demons were overjoyed. They felt as though they had escaped from death. With the protection of the crows of misfortune, their lives were finally saved. Not allowed to kill? Who do you think you are? Xiaoping snorted coldly, his killing intent soaring. His true essence boiled like lava. Holding the hell's spear, he rushed towards the group of demons. No, no, no! All the demons were dumbfounded. They could feel Xiaoping's terrifying killing intent. They did not expect the human to still dare to attack even when the crows of misfortune were here. Some of the demons wanted to escape, some wanted to fight back, and some wanted to dodge, but it was all useless. Compared to Xiaoping, who was holding the precious weapon, the hell's spear, their strength was too far apart. This kind of gap was basically the same as the gap between a peak martial master and a grandmaster. It was almost impossible to make up for. When these demons let out miserable cries for help, the power of the hell's spear turned into countless spear shadows, easily piercing through the bodies of the demons present. Bastard, how dare you kill my brothers of the demon race? Sensing this situation, the crow of misfortune was so angry that its lungs were about to explode. Despite knowing that it was coming, the human was still trying to kill it. However, they were too far away from Xiaoping, and it was simply beyond their reach. Moreover, Xiaoping's attack was so fast that even the speed of sound was not enough to describe such a speed. Therefore they could not stop him at all. They could only watch Xiaoping kill their brothers of the demon race. Bang! 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 The hell's aura immediately exploded, and the bodies of the demons instantly exploded into countless pieces of flesh and blood. Blood sprayed everywhere like rain, dyeing the ground red. The heads of these demons flew in all directions, and their eyes were wide open. Clearly, they had died with grievances and were extremely unwilling to die. Too ruthless. When Tyrant Jia and the other elite students saw this scene, their hearts trembled violently. It was as if someone was squeezing their hearts. No one expected Xiaoping to be so ruthless. Even though he knew that the crows of misfortune were coming and tried to stop them, he still did not move. Instead, he killed all the demons in front of the crows of misfortune. This was clearly a slap to the crows of misfortune's face. This was sowing endless hatred. Whoosh! A few seconds later, a huge bird with a body of 4 to 5 meters and a pair of black wings that covered the sky appeared in front of everyone. It was completely black, and its body lingered with the aura of death. With its body as the center, it seemed to have formed a death domain with a diameter of more than 10 meters. It was pitch black, as if even the sunlight had been sucked dry. Many elite students gasped. The two black, unfathomable eyes of death with vortexes in the depths of its pupils stared at them. Immediately, they felt like they were being killed by the Grim Reaper. It was as if their lives would be taken away in the next second. This was the famous crows of misfortune. Chapter 659. This is the crow of misfortune? Tyrant Hero and the others suddenly felt a chill run down their spine, as if they were being stared at by the god of the underworld. They could have their souls taken away at any time and die without a burial. Rumor had it that the crow of misfortune was an extremely tyrannical race even among the many demon races. It was a demon from hell. Once it appeared, it represented war, death, plague, and so on. It was a symbol of countless deaths and injuries. No one wanted to see the crow of misfortune. Even many demons were extremely afraid of the crow of misfortune. They thought it was a symbol of misfortune. It was almost as detestable as Xiaoping. Human. The crow of misfortune stared at Xiaoping. I told you to stop. Why didn't you stop? You actually dared to kill in front of me. It seems that your wild nature is hard to tame. You need more training. It wasn't angry for the dead demons. They weren't of the same race anyway. This made it difficult for it to shed a tear. Not to mention that it was a cold-hearted demon. But it was angry at its own face. It had clearly ordered this human not to attack, but he still attacked. Moreover, he was so ruthless that he killed the demons in an instant. This was simply a public slap in the face. How could it not be angry? You are the crow of misfortune? The symbol of death and war? Xiaoping touched his chin. I wonder if I can eat you after roasting you? I heard that the flesh and blood of you demons contains a lot of energy, comparable to a 1,000-year-old elixir. I wonder if that's true? He stared at the crow of misfortune. What? Tyrant Hero and the others were speechless. Even at this time, this guy still wanted to eat them. Who was the real demon now? Why did it seem like it was the other way around? You really are a wild and hard to tame human. But it doesn't matter. Wait until I capture you, put shackles on your neck, shackle your feet, and let a dozen female pigs torture you for a few years. I reckon you'll soon be convinced. The crow of misfortune was high and mighty. Its black eyes revealed a deep killing intent. Although it didn't show it on the surface, it was completely enraged by Xiaoping's words. Come here and die. Xiaoping gave it a sidelong glance. Human, do you want to die? A terrifying aura of death erupted from the crow of misfortune. Its race was known as a tyrannical race that had walked out from the depths of hell. It was born with the ability to control the aura of death. Once he was enraged, then the heavens would collapse and the earth would split apart. It was like the god of the underworld had descended and taken away the lives of countless living beings. Boom, the crow of misfortune could no longer hold back and instantly attacked. It controlled the death energy in its body and a black mist burst out, blasting towards Xiaoping. Corpse accumulation fist. The black mist instantly condensed into numerous black fists, as if they were the fists of an underworld deity. They seemed to have emerged from the depths of hell, containing the power to shatter the earth. At the same time, it was surrounded by a deathly aura, which was extremely effective against living creatures. Once one was invaded by the deathly aura, it would instantly steal away one's life force and turn one into a pile of bones. This was the terror of the Crow of Misfortune corpse accumulating infernal god fist. Once executed, not only did it possess boundless might, the aura of death that it exuded was also unstoppable, and one would be killed in a single move. Dodge! The expressions of Tyrant Jia and the others immediately changed. They could feel the deathly aura coming at them. The grass and trees on the ground rapidly withered, as if their souls were being destroyed in an instant. If they were to stay here, they would be affected by the Crow of Misfortune's power. Just the shockwaves alone would be enough to seriously injure them. Even though the Crow of Misfortune's power was probably on par with Feng Qiudao's, the deathly aura on its body was simply too terrifying. It could be said to be the bane of all living beings. At that moment, Xia Ping suddenly made his move. He slapped out with his palm while circulating the pure yang immortal art, blocking the nether deity fist in an instant. The two powerful forces collided. The air immediately exploded, giving off a loud sound. Bang! 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 In addition to attacking Xia Ping, the fists also bombarded the ground, creating huge fist-sized craters. Several tons of soil were thrown into the air, giving off loud booms. Xia Ping, who was standing on the ground, also felt the tyrannical power of the punch. The qi shield on his body shook continuously, and the ground where his feet stood was shaken into a huge crater. The deathly aura seemed to have a life of its own, ignoring his qi shield and seeping into his limbs and bones. It was as if the nether deity had descended, raising its scythe to harvest his soul. Extinguish! Xia Ping snorted coldly. The flames in his body containing the essence of the sun burst out, instantly wrapping around the gray deathly aura and burning it. In just a few breaths, the gray aura melted like snow when it came into contact with the flames in Xia Ping's body. It quickly disappeared from the world, completely obliterated. Impossible! Seeing this, the Crow of Misfortune was completely stunned. Its deathly aura had always been successful. Even the king of the demon race would have to spend a lot of effort to resist its deathly aura. Because of this, not many demons dared to fight against it. This also resulted in its aloof and arrogant personality. No one could disobey its orders. But now, its deathly aura had no effect on this human being. Just the power of the flames that erupted from his body was enough to completely extinguish its deathly aura. However, how could it know the horror of the pure yang immortal art? It absorbed the essence of the sun's flame power as nourishment and tempered its body. The power of the flame cultivated could even extinguish the aura of hell. Even if the deathly aura was very powerful, it was still no match for the essence of the sun. Even if Xia Ping did not have the power of the sun's essence, he had the bloodline of the golden crow of hell. It was the ruler of hell, the king of demons. A mere deathly aura was nothing but nourishment for it. It was simply a dream to think that it could harm his body. Go to hell. Xia Ping stood on the ground. He did not care about the Crow of Misfortune's shock. He operated the spiritual ether in his body and punched in the air. 100 steps divine fist. This punch contained the power of the sun's essence. It was a fist of flames. It was like a god of fire had descended. The terrifying fist still attacked from hundreds of meters away. Dong! The Crow of Misfortune was caught off guard. Even though it was flying in the air, it was still hit by Xia Ping's punch. It smashed hard on its chest, breaking several of its ribs. What was even more terrifying was the power of the flames. It seemed to have begun to burn the deathly aura on its body. It wanted to turn its entire body into a fireball and burn it to death. Damn it! Chapter 660. So strong. He can actually block the Raven of Misfortune's death aura. Just what kind of flame is that? What kind of flame technique does he cultivate? It's at least a peerless king-class flame energy art. Otherwise, there's no way it could be so powerful. But isn't this kid just a commoner? Even if he joined the giant corporation, It's impossible for him to get a peerless king-class technique that even the king clans can't get their hands on. This world is full of good fortune and ruins. I bet this kid fell into one of those ruins and obtained a peerless king-class energy art. That's not impossible. Damn it. No wonder he's so strong. Even Feng Qiudao wasn't a match for him. Tyrant Jie and the others were also completely shocked by Xiaoping's previous attack. Even the famous Crow of Misfortune had been injured by his punch. Even the death aura seemed to have no effect on him. This made them feel that it was inconceivable. Just now, the shockwaves from the Raven of Misfortune's attack had spread everywhere, and some of the elite students had been corroded by the aura. The result was obvious. Their bodies were corroded, as if they had been exposed to acid. Their meridians were in a withered state, and their life force was greatly damaged. If they hadn't circulated their qigong to expel the death aura, and taken precious medicinal pills, they would have been seriously injured. If just the shockwaves were so strong, then what kind of pressure would Xiaoping be under when facing the Raven of Misfortune's all-out attack? They couldn't imagine that such a monster existed in this world. You want to make me your slave? Why don't you eat shit instead? Xiaoping didn't show any mercy. He landed on the ground and with a bang, he leaped up into the air, creating a 10-meter wide crater in the ground. He leaped up into the air, reaching a height of over 100 meters, and threw a punch at the Raven of Misfortune. Damn it! The Raven of Misfortune's face turned green. Even though it could fly with its wings for a peak martial master, 100 meters in the air was no different from the ground. It only took one leap for it to reach that height. Bang! The punch landed squarely on the Raven of Misfortune's face, sending it flying like a sandbag. It flew off into the distance, smashing through a huge mountain. Rock after rock was shattered into pieces. Even the mountain peak seemed to be in a state of cracking, as if it couldn't withstand such an impact and was about to collapse. As for the Crow of Misfortune, he spat out a mouthful of blood. His internal organs were severely injured. Xiao. However, Xiaoping still did not let the Crow of Misfortune off. With a few leaps, he arrived in front of the Crow of Misfortune. His fists were like a storm as they ruthlessly smashed over. Bang bang bang. The Crow of Misfortune was immediately attacked like a storm. Every punch contained the power of 1,000 caddies, bombarding its body. It seemed as if every bone in its body was heavily injured. If it wasn't for the fact that it had a king's bloodline and its body was much stronger than ordinary monsters, it would have been smashed into minced meat by Xiaoping with just a few punches. But in the face of such a blow, it was powerless to resist. This made it feel incomparably humiliated. Despicable human, you forced me to do this. Die! With a boom, the Crow of Misfortune suddenly unleashed a power that was several times stronger than before. In an instant, Xiaoping was sent flying over 1,000 meters away. Suddenly, a black flag appeared in front of the Crow of Misfortune. There were many skulls on the flag, as well as many vengeful spirits. From time to time, the flag would emit demonic roars that seemed to come from hell. It was a terrifying sight. The moment the flag appeared, a sinister wind blew. With the Crow of Misfortune as the center, the area within a radius of 3 to 4 kilometers seemed to turn into a land of death. A majestic black aura emerged. The weeds and trees on the ground all withered, as if all their vitality had been completely stripped away. Oh no! This is the famous treasure of the Crow of Misfortune, the Purgatory Vengeful Soul Flag. The tycoon's expression immediately changed when he saw the black flag appear. He came from a king's clan, so he was very knowledgeable and well-informed. He had come to the Sky Demon battlefield this time to cram up all sorts of information about the demon race. This included the famous treasure of the Crow of Misfortune, the Purgatory Vengeful Soul Flag. This flag contained the power of purgatory. The souls of all living beings killed by the Crow of Misfortune would not go to hell. Instead, they would be absorbed into this flag and become the treasure's power. The more living beings the Crow of Misfortune killed, the more powerful the flag would be. It could be said that the Purgatory Vengeful Soul Flag was a famous treasure even among the many treasures. It had killed countless powerful enemies, causing people to tremble in fear just by hearing its name. In the past, during the war between the demon race and the human race, this flag had killed countless monarchs of the human race. It could be said to be a deadly weapon through and through. The tycoon and the others had not expected the Crow of Misfortune to actually dare to bring this treasure into the Sky Demon battlefield. Was it not afraid of losing this precious treasure here? No, this is not the real thing. It's a fake, Lian Zhengshun said gravely. Many elite students also stared at the flag and immediately felt relieved. Indeed, if this was the legendary Purgatory Vengeful Soul flag, the flag would probably envelop an area of hundreds of kilometers in an earth-shattering aura of death. If the Demon King used its full strength, even a city would probably be turned into a dead zone. Humph, yes, this is a fake, but it has at least 10% of the real thing's power. It's more than enough to deal with a mere martial master. The Crow of Misfortune sneered. The demonic power in its body surged and whistled. A majestic demonic power immediately poured into the flag. Rumble, the Purgatory Vengeful Soul flag suddenly shook and flashed with black light. A black vortex seemed to appear in the depths of the flag. It was as if chaos was flowing and a terrifying aura of death was brewing. In the depths of the vortex, skeletons, evil spirits, and demons seemed to have appeared. They all seemed to have crawled out from the depths of the flag and appeared in the air. These creatures were all killed by the Crow of Misfortune. Their souls were collected by the flag and turned into puppets. They had to provide power for the flag for the rest of their lives until they died. Whoosh! 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 In an instant, hundreds and thousands of skeletons, evil spirits, and demons appeared in the air. Each of them emitted a monstrous demonic aura. They had all reached the Martial Master realm. Many of them were experts at the peak of the Martial Master realm. Chapter 661. Kill him. The Crow of Misfortune's eyes were ferocious. It waved the Purgatory Vengeful Spirit flag in its hand, and a mysterious power acted on the evil spirits and vengeful spirits. The aura of death poured into their bodies, greatly increasing their strength. Rumble, the evil spirits turned into horsemen. They wore armor, and among them were skeleton horses. They held shields and spears in their hands. Like soldiers, they stepped on the air and charged at Xiaoping. Hundreds and thousands of undead horsemen appeared. They were neat in uniform like a powerful army. Their killing intent surged, and the terrifying aura of death enveloped a radius of several kilometers. They locked onto Xiaoping's aura. No matter where he fled, they would chase him to the end. This is the power of the Purgatory Vengeful Spirit flag? It's too terrifying. How is this a treasure? It's clearly an army. The more living beings it kills, the stronger the flag becomes. It really lives up to its name. If even the king is killed, doesn't that mean that even the king's soul will be bound by this flag and become a puppet? No wonder this flag acted as if it was facing a great enemy. It's too terrifying. Can't be stopped at all. No matter how strong Xiaoping is, he probably can't stop it. How can he stop it? People say that there are hundreds and thousands of soldiers in an army. Countless horses will trample him into meat paste in an instant. Tyrant Hero and the others all widened their eyes in fright. They were completely shocked by the power of the Purgatory Vengeful Spirit flag. This was no flag. It was clearly a tiger tally to command an army. This was bullying with numbers. It was too much. Bang! 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 In an instant, these ghost horsemen attacked Xiaoping. Their spears were like a forest, as if they wanted to pierce through Xiaoping in an instant and turn his body into a beehive. Xiaoping was not to be outdone. His fists were like the wind as he used the 10,000 beasts fist. At this moment, he had turned into a forest of beasts. There were tigers, cheetahs, lions, elephants, hungry wolves, kangaroos, and so on. His fists and feet were like lethal weapons, containing tremendous power. The attacking ghost horsemen were all defeated with a few punches and feet and turned into dust. However, these ghost riders seemed to be undying existences. After being defeated by Xiaoping's kick, they turned into a massive death aura that spread between heaven and earth. Then the Crow of Misfortune just had to wave the Purgatory Vengeful Soul flag slightly, and some of the ghost riders that had been killed would come back to life, and the majestic aura of death would condense into ghost riders again. Even though Xiaoping had expended a lot of energy, he hadn't killed a single ghost rider. Instead, he was surrounded, and no matter how he struggled, he couldn't escape. Aha, it's useless. It's completely useless. Under the Purgatory Vengeful Soul flag, These ghost riders are immortal. No matter how many times you kill them, they can be resurrected again. The crow of misfortune was elated, feeling extremely good. This human had fallen into his evil spirit army, and even if he wanted to struggle, he couldn't escape. Don't look at the brat's current appearance. As time passed, the true essence in his body would soon be exhausted. At that time, he would be like a fish on the chopping board, and it could slaughter him however it wanted. This human slave must be captured alive and tortured ruthlessly. His neck must be shackled, and his hands and feet must be bound with iron chains. Even his little brother must be castrated to prevent him from going around. He must also have the word slave carved on his forehead. The crow of misfortune imagined itself capturing Xia Ping and torturing him ruthlessly. If it could subdue this human slave, he would definitely be of great help in the future. Undying existences? Interesting. Xia Ping immediately stopped. He knew that no matter how much energy he wasted, he probably wouldn't be able to kill these ghost riders. Hehe, are you desperate? Hurry up and surrender. Kneel at your master's feet. The crow of misfortune laughed loudly. It thought that Xia Ping had finally given up and planned to surrender. Surrender? You think too highly of yourself. Xia Ping looked at the crow of misfortune indifferently. He stood where he was, put his palms together, and with a pious expression, he immediately started singing. King Tier Peerless Martial Technique, Heaven's Epic. This was the first piece of the Heaven's Epic, Angel's Hymn. In that instant, with Xia Ping as the center, the singing resounded in a radius of 10 miles. Such sound waves spread in all directions, pouring into the minds of every living being. This was clearly not the language of humans, nor was it the language of the demon race, but the language of angels. No living being could understand it, but they could feel the energy contained in the singing. Singing had no boundaries, nor did it distinguish between races. This was an existence that stood above countless other things. Even if they couldn't understand what the other party was saying, they could still know what it meant. What is this? Even Tu Haojie and the other elite students were hallucinating at this instant. They felt as though a ray of sunlight had torn through the dark sky, turning it into a clear blue sky. High up in the sky, an angel had descended. It had 6 wings on its back, and extremely pure white feathers without any impurities fell down, emitting a vast and holy aura, as though it could cleanse the world of impurities. The warm energy emitted from its body made it feel as though it was the happiest thing in its life. Under this holy light, all negative emotions were swept away. At this moment, they simply wished they could prostrate themselves before this holy angel and become the most loyal believers. When those ghost riders heard the singing of these angels, the incomparable resentment, fury, and craziness in their hearts seemed to be cleared at this moment, and they obtained a moment of peace. Their originally abnormally malevolent faces seemed to have been purified at this moment, appearing extremely holy, quiet, and benevolent. It was as though they had obtained the Tao at this moment, letting go of everything. The undead aura and death aura on their bodies were also completely purified under this pure energy. They melted like ice and snow, rapidly disappearing from this world. Many palm-sized little angels appeared, surrounding these ghost riders and constantly reciting scriptures, as though they were purifying these evil auras. Bastard, what have you done? What have you done? Seeing this scene, the crow of misfortune's eyes widened, and it completely went crazy. The purgatory vengeful soul flag, which was invincible and had killed countless people, had actually been weakened at this moment. It was unknown how long it had taken to collect them and how many living beings it had killed, but at this moment, they had all vanished into thin air, as if they were about to be purified by this shameless angel. It was as if a robber had entered its home and plundered it wantonly, taking away all its wealth. It was as though it was plucking feathers from every opportunity. As the saying went, obstructing one's path to wealth was akin to killing one's parents. What Xia Ping had done was no different from killing its entire family. Immediately, the crow of misfortune was so angry that it jumped up. It could not take it at all, and it wanted to immediately kill this thief. Stop! Chapter 662. Stop my ass die. Xia Ping didn't care about the crow of misfortune's words. If he didn't kill it while it was sick, would he wait for it to kill him when it was healthy? Even a fool wouldn't do that. Boom! Suddenly, the sound in the void vibrated, and there was a burst of solemn and sacred voice, like a seraph singing a heaven epic, full of sacred flavor. Thank the angel, I'm going to be free. Thank you, Sir Angel, I feel my hatred and anger disappear at this moment. Heaven, I want to go to heaven. The ghost knights all showed a kind look on their faces, and all the hostility on their bodies disappeared. It seemed that even the evil thoughts deep in their souls were completely purified. But as an evil spirit, it could exist in this world because of evil thoughts, anger, resentment, and other emotions. Without these negative emotions, they would have no value in existing. Rumble! Suddenly, the ghost knights, who were bound to the purgatory soul flag, put their hands together like the most devout believers and let go of everything. It didn't take long for their bodies to dissipate, turning into a white light, flying toward the void, as if disappearing from this world. The purgatory soul flag also suddenly made a cracking sound, and a dozen cracks appeared on it. It was about to break. After all, the power of this flag came from the evil spirit. If even the evil spirit disappeared and was completely purified, then it would lose its source of power, and even its origin would be completely damaged. This was an irreparable damage. Damn human, I want you to die. The crow of misfortune was completely crazy. Seeing the purgatory soul flag on its body destroyed by Xia Ping, its eyes were burning with flames. This purgatory soul flag could be said to be the greatest treasure on its body. It didn't know how much it had to pay to refine it, and it had almost exhausted all of its wealth. But now it was destroyed by Xia Ping. One could imagine how angry it was now. Whoosh! The crow of misfortune went crazy, and its whole body turned into a black light, attacking Xia Ping, as if it wanted to pierce through this damn human's body with one blow. Without the purgatory soul flag, you're just a fart. How dare you come here and clamor? Get lost. Xia Ping made a move, his hands turned into Tai Chi symbols, standing on the ground, and at the same time running dark north body protecting skill. Immediately, he set up a shield of air that flowed like water in front of his body. Dong! The crow of misfortune fiercely smashed over like a comet crashing into the earth. It exploded with a loud sound, causing the air shield to buzz, as if it was on the verge of collapse. However, it was unable to break through this force. The water continued to tremble, and the recoil from the energy barrier made it dizzy and dizzy. Bang! Xia Ping was not going to let the raven of misfortune go easily. He punched the raven of misfortune with the force of 1,000 pounds. It was as if he was an ancient barbaric elephant. Ah! The crow of misfortune let out a miserable shriek and spat out a mouthful of blood. Its entire body flew out like a cannonball, smashing through a small mountain in the distance in an instant. Huge boulders were blasted into smithereens. Too strong. He can even defeat the crow of misfortune. It's a mess. Who is the monster now? Incredible. Even the power of the precious purgatory spirit flag can be resisted. He wants to go against the heavens. The elite students such as Wuxia have been shocked to the point of numbness. Whether it is Xia Ping who killed dozens of elite monsters with a wave of his hand or now defeated the famous crow of misfortune. In the outside world, it is an earth-shattering event. Run! After smashing through a mountain and being shaken to the point of bleeding, the crow of misfortune finally calmed down. It knew that if it continued like this, it might be killed by this human. Wait for me, when my injury recovers and I am promoted to the Grandmaster level, I will find this damn human to settle the score. At that time I will kill him and peel off his tendons. The crow of misfortune was furious. It immediately climbed out of the deep pit. It was very fast. It did not care about its injuries. It flapped its wings and flew into the distance. Oh no, the crow of misfortune is going to escape. If the crow of misfortune escapes, it will be a big enemy. But how can we chase it? It has wings and can fly high into the sky. It is beyond our reach. Suddenly, Wuxia and the other elite students found that the arrogant crow of misfortune actually turned around and fled. It was really shocking. They did not expect that such a demon king descendant would also flee in fear. However, it was too difficult to catch up with the crow of misfortune at this time. The other party could fly high in the sky and was extremely fast. It was almost impossible to catch up with it. Die. With a boom, Xiaoping instantly took out a long bow from his body. It was the precious moon shooting bow, which was obtained during the college entrance examination. It was extremely powerful. At this time, his quintessential essence vibrated and immediately condensed into a physical bow and arrow. This was a light arrow. After advancing to the martial master realm, he no longer needed any bow and arrow reserves. As long as his quintessential essence had not been exhausted, he could condense as many bows and arrows as he wanted. Moreover, the power of such an energy bow and arrow was even more terrifying and indestructible. Xiaoping pulled the bow and arrow, and at the same time he activated the Hell Golden Crow's eye. It was as if the whole world turned into a three-dimensional field of vision. Even though the Crow of Misfortune was a few kilometers away, it seemed as if it was very close. The aura on his body surged and his muscles swelled. It was as if an ancient god was shooting at the sun god Apollo. His whole body emitted a sharp aura that soared into the sky. Swoosh! In the blink of an eye, the bow and arrow shot out at 10 times the speed of sound. It tore through the air like a supersonic plane, producing an ear-piercing sound in the surroundings. Some elite students could not help but cover their ears, afraid that the sound wave would shatter their eardrums. What? The Crow of Misfortune was instantly frightened. Originally, it thought that it could fly high in the sky, and no matter how powerful these humans were, they would not be able to attack it. However, after flying for a distance, its hair stood on end as if it had been locked on by the god of death. It turned around and was shocked to find that a bow and arrow was shooting at it from afar. Before it could react, the bow and arrow instantly penetrated its body. Blood splattered everywhere, and the intense pain made the Crow of Misfortune let out the loudest scream of its life. This kind of pain was something it had never felt in so many years. It was as if every nerve was being bitten by ants. Its huge body was carried by the tyrannical power of the bow and arrow and flew forward. Finally, it was nailed to a mountain wall in the distance. Chapter 663. Whoosh! Soon, Xiaoping's figure flickered and left the valley. He came to the mountain wall a few miles away and looked at the Crow of Misfortune that was nailed to it. At this time, the blood on the Crow of Misfortune dripped down, dyeing it red. It was no longer as arrogant as before. Even if it wanted to curse, it couldn't. It's not dead yet? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. Originally, he aimed this arrow at the Crow of Misfortune's heart, wanting to kill this monster with one arrow. But he didn't expect it to miss. In fact, it didn't miss, but because the Crow of Misfortune twisted its body at the critical moment, causing the arrow to hit other parts of its body. Although this was a fatal injury for humans, it was not fatal for monsters even if it was very serious. If they were given a certain amount of time, they would definitely recover to their original state. Damn human, how dare you treat the great Crow of Misfortune like this? Do you know how much misfortune this behavior will bring to you? Do you know? Seeing Xiaoping coming in front of it, the Crow of Misfortune seemed to have recovered some of its strength. It was unruly, and its eyes revealed a fierce look. It immediately cursed, as if it wanted to scare Xiaoping. Die! Xiaoping couldn't be bothered to listen to the Crow of Misfortune's nonsense. He punched, wanting to blow up the crow's head. Wait, human, wait for me. Originally, the Crow of Misfortune was still acting tough, trying to scare Xiaoping with its identity as a descendant of the Monster King. But it didn't expect that this guy didn't care about its words at all. He didn't even intend to listen to its words and punched, wanting to blow up its head. Suddenly, the Crow of Misfortune was so scared that it peed its pants. It no longer dared to pretend and hurriedly shouted, "Wait my ass." Xiaoping punched, but the Crow of Misfortune was, after all, the Crow of Misfortune. It actually turned its head at the critical moment. Dong! When the punch landed on the mountain wall, it instantly blasted open a large hole with a diameter of tens of meters. The entire mountain seemed to be on the verge of collapse, and cracks spread to who knew how far. In the distance, a boulder of tens of tons was shaken to pieces. One could imagine the power of this punch. If it hit, it would definitely kill the Crow of Misfortune. Why are you hiding? Xiaoping looked at the Crow of Misfortune curiously. Why did he hide? Damn it, if I didn't dodge, that punch would have killed me. How could I not dodge? This was clearly bullshit. The crow of misfortune couldn't help but curse inwardly, wanting to spit on this human's face. However, it still endured it. Who asked it to be inferior and become a prisoner? You can't kill me. The crow of misfortune said. I am the prince of the crow of misfortune race. If you kill me, you will definitely incur the wrath of the fiend race. At that time, it will cause a war between the human race and the fiend race. You will be the main culprit, and even kings will not be able to protect you. Oh! Xiaoping grunted and clenched his fists, wanting to give him another punch. Fuck, this bastard doesn't fall for it. The crow of misfortune's face turned green. How could it not see that this kid wasn't threatened by it at all? It seemed like he didn't care about the war either. Perhaps for this guy, a war was exactly what he wanted. Thinking of this, it immediately said, if you don't kill me, I can give you some benefits. Since the hard way didn't work, it would use the soft way. It also knew how to advance and retreat. Benefits? What benefits can you give me? Xiaoping immediately stopped. To be honest, even if he killed the crow of misfortune now, he would only be getting rid of a demon. It wouldn't bring him any benefits. He wanted to hear what this demon had to say. I am the prince of the crow of misfortune race. If you let me go, after this fiend battlefield ends, I can ask my father to give you a large number of treasures. You can have anything you want. Regardless of whether it could be done or not, the crow of misfortune immediately made an empty promise, hoping that Xiaoping would spare its life. A crow is also a prince? Xiaoping was very doubtful. The crow of misfortune's nose was crooked from anger. So what if I'm a crow? Can't a crow be a prince? You're judging people by their appearance. When the crow of misfortune race dominated the world, it had nothing to do with you humans. It revealed an arrogant look. Clearly, it still remembered the prestige of its ancestors. None of my business. Xiaoping said lazily, I only care about whether you can give me benefits. Since your race is so awesome, you naturally have a lot of treasures, right? What treasured artifacts? Just give me 4 or 5 of them and send me away like I'm a beggar. If you don't have any treasured artifacts, give me 5 or 6,000-year-old spirit herbs or 10,000-year-old spirit herbs. That's not too bad. Give your sister. The crow of misfortune spat at this shameless fellow. Just give me 4 or 5 treasured artifacts. Why don't you ascend to the heavens? Do you think treasured artifacts can be given out so casually? You still say it's like sending away beggars? Damn it. You make it sound nice, but you're clearly sending away bandits. Not even a blade of grass will grow. Furthermore, as the crow of misfortune, it had never seen 1,000-year-old spirit herbs or 10,000-year-old spirit herbs before. They were all kept by the demon monarch and never showed themselves easily. This kid's appetite was boundless. He wanted to make do with 5 or 6 of them. He had never seen anything like this before. Was he not afraid that his appetite would be too big and he would die? The crow of misfortune's face darkened. No, I don't have any treasures. I only have my life. Forget it. It seems you crows of misfortune are just a bunch of poor bastards. You can't take out any money. You're probably one of those declining races. If that's the case, what's the use of you? I'll just kill you and roast you. Xiaoping looked at the crow of misfortune ferociously. He felt that this crow was only worth roasting. Wait, I, the crow of misfortune, am not poor. Feeling Xiaoping's killing intent, the crow of misfortune was so scared that it peed its pants. It quickly said, although we can't take out treasured artifacts or 1,000-year-old spirit herbs, we can still take out some ordinary spirit herbs, spirit liquids, and demon cores. It showed that it was still of some value. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. He had to admit that this crow was still of some use. If he used it to blackmail the crows of misfortune, he would be able to extort a lot of money. However, if the blackmail was too much, the crows of misfortune would probably not agree. It was estimated that they would rather fight to the death. He had to maintain a balance. He couldn't let himself suffer a loss, nor could he let the crows of misfortune fly into a rage. It seems that these poor monsters are unwilling to take out treasured artifacts or 1,000-year-old spirit herbs even if I beat them to death. I can only extort some money. Xiaoping expressed that he was still very short of money. In order to buy a super battleship, he was short of money. Okay, it's not impossible to spare your life, but you have to give me 500 billion federal coins. Xiaoping opened his mouth wide. What? Hearing this, the crow of misfortune's face turned green. The human race and the monster race had been living together for such a long time. In fact, their currencies were almost the same, and they would communicate from time to time. 500 billion federal coins was the same as drawing blood from the crow of misfortune. He would have to pay more than half of his wealth. Chapter 664. Okay, I agree. The crow of misfortune waited again and again and agreed to Xiaoping's blackmail, because if it didn't agree, this damn human would probably go crazy and really kill it. In order to save its own life, it had no choice but to compensate Xiaoping with 500 billion federal coins as the money to buy its life. Not bad, not bad. A wise man submits to circumstances. Xiaoping patted it on the shoulder, indicating that the other party's decision was correct. However, when he thought about it, it seemed that even if the agreement was made now, there was nothing he could do if this monster went back on its word. After all, the other party was not a human, and there was no contract binding it. It was just that he had already thought about it. After the Sky Demon battlefield was over, he would directly take this crow of misfortune away and bring it to the human world. At that time it would have no choice but to agree. If it didn't agree, it would die. Stupid human. The crow of misfortune's eyes revealed a treacherous light. In fact, it knew exactly what Xiaoping was planning. It was nothing more than to take it away after the Sky Demon battlefield was over. The problem was that there were still more than 2 months before the end of the Sky Demon battlefield. In such a dangerous place, there was always a chance for it to escape during such a long time. Once it found a gap, it would not be this shameless human's turn to be in charge. It would jump freely in the sea and fly freely in the sky, ignoring the stupid human's agreement. Just you wait. The crow of misfortune bared its teeth and laughed sinisterly in its heart. Just you wait, stupid human. When this human is tricked into being lame and leaves the Sky Demon battlefield, it will not be this human's turn to speak. You want me to compensate 500 billion federal coins? Compensate my ass. However, although it thought so in its heart, it still pretended to be very painful on the surface, as if Xiaoping had really cheated hundreds of billions of federal coins. System, is there any way to imprison this monster so that it can't pose a threat to me? Xiaoping's consciousness moved and immediately asked the system for a method. After all, there were still more than 2 months to stay in the Sky Demon battlefield. If he stared at this monster all the time, it would take a lot of his energy. He had to find a way to subdue it. Host, there is an item called the Demon Control Talisman, which is worth 20 million hatred points. The system said, if the host plants this talisman on the crow of misfortune, you can control the crow of hell with just a thought. At that time it will be the host's slave. And you can deal with it however you want. You can turn it into a soft-footed shrimp in an instant, and you can even take its life. It's like when Sun Wukong wore the band-tightening curse in the myths. But it has a shortcoming. It requires the host to have extremely strong mental power. Otherwise, the host will be controlled by the other party. You must be careful when using it. Moreover, I can only control monsters below the Supreme Power 9th stage. I can't enslave monsters above this stage. 20 million hatred points, Demon Controlling Talisman. Good stuff. Hearing this, Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He immediately knew that this Demon Controlling Talisman was a very good thing. If he gave it to the crow of misfortune, it would be equivalent to obtaining a powerful fighter. He could even place the other party in the demon race as a spy and obtain a lot of information. He could also extort a large sum of money. This was simply killing 2 birds with 1 stone, making the crow of misfortune lose money and its soldiers. It's a pity that this demon control talisman is too expensive. It actually costs 20 million hatred points. If it was a little less, I could exchange for 10 or 8 of them and enslave a group of descendants of the Demon King. Then there would be a good show to watch. Xiaoping felt a little sorry. Exchange. With a bang, a black talisman appeared in his hand. There was a mysterious formation engraved on it, and it emitted a strange aura of the soul. And the hatred points on his body were reduced by 20 million, leaving only 25 million hatred points. What is this? The crow of misfortune immediately noticed that there was a black talisman in Xiaoping's hand. It instinctively felt that this was definitely not a good thing, as if it would pose a great threat to itself. Of course it's a good thing. Xiaoping immediately penetrated his mental power into it and completely refined the black talisman. Then he patted the head of the Crow of Misfortune with his big hand. What? The Crow of Misfortune tried to dodge, instinctively feeling that it was extremely dangerous. But at this time it was seriously injured and could not dodge at all. It could only watch as the black talisman poured into its mind. Boom! Suddenly, the black talisman turned into a black light and merged into the depths of its soul. What the hell is this? The Crow of Misfortune shouted, and the mental power on its body vibrated, trying to expel the black light from its body, and all the monster power in its body surged. Go! Xiaoping's eyes showed a trace of coldness, and the majestic soul power on his body vibrated. This kind of power exceeded the strength of the same level by more than 10 times, equivalent to a grandmaster, and even the Crow of Misfortune could not compare. When this soul power was infused, the black light shone brightly, as if it had received a steady stream of troops. The army pressed on and broke the defense of the Crow of Misfortune. No! The Crow of Misfortune let out a shrill scream, and with a bang, the black light penetrated everything and penetrated into its soul, like a seed, which was stationed inside, taking root and germinating. Even if it wanted to expel it now, it would be impossible, because it had already become a parasite. It only felt that its soul seemed to have formed a connection with this damned human, as if he could destroy its soul with a single thought. This talisman is called the Demon Controlling Talisman. Xiaoping looked at the Crow of Misfortune with a smile. Now that I have planted this talisman in your body, your life and death will be in my control. If you dare to harm me with a single thought, you will die a violent death. Think about it carefully. What? Hearing this, the Crow of Misfortune's face turned green. It was a dignified Crow of Misfortune, a king race, and it had been famous in the ancient times, known as the Messenger of Hell. At that time it did not know where the human race was. But now, it had become a prisoner of this shameless human, and it was planted with a demon-controlling talisman, and its life and death were in the hands of this human. Didn't this mean that it had become a slave? Utter humiliation. This was simply utter humiliation. It did not feel that Xiaoping was lying, because it felt that there was a power in the depths of its soul, as if as long as Xiaoping passed an order, its body would not be under its control. Now, it had completely become this damned human's puppet. It's over, it's completely over. Chapter 665. At this moment in the valley, Tyrant Jie and the others were anxiously waiting for Xiaoping's return. They were still worried that Xiaoping's pursuit would be successful. After all, they were too far away and they had no way of knowing the situation. Xiaoping is back. An elite student's eyes were very sharp. He immediately noticed 2 figures flying over from a distance. Yes, they were flying over. The 4 to 5 meter long Crow of Misfortune was sullen and flying over in grief and indignation. Xiaoping was like an emperor sitting on the body of the crow, insufferably arrogant. Boom! Immediately, the Crow of Misfortune landed on the ground, stirring up a cloud of dust. The surrounding elite students coughed incessantly. Xiaoping! Many elite students were stunned. They looked at the scene in front of them in disbelief. If Xiaoping returned empty-handed, they could understand. After all, the Crow of Misfortune had the ability to fly. If it flew away from a high altitude, no one would be able to catch it. If Xiaoping moved the corpse of the Crow of Misfortune back, they could also understand. After all, Xiaoping's ferocity was obvious. If he chased after it, it was very possible that the Crow of Misfortune was killed because of a moment of carelessness. However, they couldn't understand the current situation. Among the demon race, the famous king race, the Crow of Misfortune thought of itself as a supreme creature, an emissary from hell, and looked down on humans. But now it was like a subordinate being sat on by Xiaoping and being ordered around by him. It was clearly riding on Xiaoping's body and urinating. It was really unbelievable that the Crow of Misfortune could endure this. What had happened in the past 10 minutes? Xiaoping, what's going on? Tu Hao asked curiously. Many elite students pricked up their ears. Xiaoping waved his hand. It's nothing. Previously I was fighting to the death with this crow. Suddenly we developed feelings for each other and sparks flew. It was also impressed by my martial strength, so it decided to cut off the chicken's head and burn yellow paper to swear an oath of blood and become brothers. I'm the big brother and it's the second brother. Now it's one of us. Don't worry, everyone. He gave a simple explanation. Come, little crow, say hello to everyone. With a slap, Xiaoping slapped the crow of misfortune's head. Little shadow. Hearing this, Tyrant Hero and the others were completely dumbfounded. It was as if they had seen the most unbelievable thing in the world. The great crow of misfortune was actually called Little Crow? Furthermore, weren't they sworn brothers? Why did it seem like the crow of misfortune was a lackey? His status was so low that he was no different from a servant. Greet your sister. The crow of misfortune wanted to spit on this bastard's face. It didn't want to be brothers with this shameless human at all. It was forced. However, after being implanted with the demon-controlling talisman, it knew that it could not resist any order from this bastard human for the time being. Otherwise, it would be a dead end. Just you wait. When I return to the demon encampment, I'll ask the Demon King for help and completely remove this hateful talisman. The crow of misfortune decided to bow down for now. As the saying goes, a good demon does not fight when the odds are against it. Right now, he was inferior to Zhangxian. Even if he were to force himself to resist, it would not end well for him. Thus, he might as well listen to Zhangxian's orders for the time being, and let Zhangxian lower his guard before dealing a fatal blow. Thinking of this, he squeezed out a stiff smile and said to Tyrant Jia and the others, "Hello everyone. I'm really sorry for what happened before. I was a little impulsive. As the saying goes, no discord, no concord. From now on we are all friends. The human race and the demon race will live in harmony and progress together to build a beautiful home." Tyrant Jia and the others were speechless. This was the first time they heard the ferocious demon race talk about living in harmony. When had the demon race not been shouting about killing and massacring an entire city? Now it was as obedient as a pet. It even wanted to live in harmony with them and build a beautiful home together. They all felt like they were dreaming. However, although they didn't know what method Xiaoping had used, they were sure that the crow of misfortune had been taught a lesson by Xiaoping. It would not be able to cause any trouble in a short period of time. Xiaoping, since we've obtained the spiritual liquid, we'll be leaving. What are your plans? Tyrant Jia immediately told Xiaoping his plans. After obtaining the spiritual liquid, he planned to find a place to cultivate in seclusion and break through to the Grandmaster realm. Only by advancing to the Grandmaster level would they be able to survive in this place and find more treasures. It was not only Tyrant Jia who thought this way. The other elite students also had similar thoughts. I'll stay in the valley for now. You guys go ahead. Xiaoping waved his hand, indicating that he did not want to leave for now. After all, he still had to transport all the spiritual liquid here. Okay, then we'll meet again. Tyrant Jia and the others cupped their hands at Xiaoping and turned to leave. Since he did not want to leave, they would not force him. After all, with Xiaoping's strength, there were probably not many enemies who could hurt him. You stay here and guard the valley. Don't let the enemies in, Xiaoping ordered. The crow of misfortune was very sullen. It wanted to refuse, but with the power of the demon-controlling talisman, it could not refuse. It could only stay outside the valley and act as a guardian. However, it also silently circulated the demon power in its body and quickly recovered from its injuries.